Now, who's term this? Yes, this na term for all Salon people and them party them. Sierra Leone Media will be bringing you a variety of programs ranging from documentaries to discussions, interviews, news, views, sports, and entertainment. Our programs will contain matters on development, governance, the economy, and issues that are of importance to Sierra Leone. So, no left BNO because we get Bebe program then like Salon discussion, meets the ministers, the president's hour, and the Gladi program. Look me, I look you. All this they start soon na www.sierragemedia.org. Now who's term this?
As we talk about burning issues ranging from politics to the economy, culture to sport, education to entertainment, corruption to the environment, we realize the Sierra Leone story is far from finished. So, Sierra Leone Media Production brings you Zoom In. Zoom In is the program that engages everyday people, entrepreneurs, inventors, entertainers, activists, policymakers, and politicians to discuss and debate issues relating to Sierra Leone. Zoom In digs deep into the issues and stories. Zoom In ensures the debate is pushed to another level. Zoom In asks those questions that has never been asked before. So, join us, host Chumaba.
When I was young,
Rape, child sex abuse, statutory rape, date rape, serial rape, and gang rape.
We must rise up against this ugly trend.
Justice for one, justice for all.
All sexual assault must stop, and it must stop now.
Silverstone Beats.
People killing, people dying, children hurting, hear them crying. You can practice what you preach, or would you turn the other cheek? Father, 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 help us, send some guidance from above. People got me questioning, where is the love?
See this life going evil, we all have to give up, yeah, yeah. Cause all I see is evil, and too much killing of my people, yeah, yeah. So let's bless one another, yeah, yeah. So let's help one another. I sing again, yeah.
What's me, I don't see this can't seem really happen. This not to be education opportunity. Now in we need, let we learn for the share, not to all time for big greed.
See this life, the level. Is it we lose or we know? Stop killing one another. Let's stand together, yeah. Stop playing the hero, looking at each other like we're zero. On the block with a C, money dip and make every day pan pre, yeah.
Our life they took our boys, they take our joy, take our joy. They started time we stop now crime. Don't blind bodies like your future.
Stop the stabbing, stop the killing. Let's love one another. Peace.
Where is the
I see fighting every day, I see dying every day. Why don't we help each other and pave the way for a better life, a life that we all deserve? Instead of killing each other, why don't we preserve? So you wanna be a bad man, he's gonna be a badder man. You got a big knife, he's gonna get a bigger knife. Our people suffered for years in chains. Now we turn on each other, cut for gains. For the ones that send the youth to kill themselves, you pretend to be a father figure but only care for yourself. You are nothing but the flesh of the devil. You're evil, low life on another level. Think about the mothers and the pain they go through. You don't care for these kids, they mean nothing to you. But karma only knows the boomerang maneuver. One day the green reaper will be your remover.
This little deranged ranting of some sanctimonious food is as poetic verses, ruminate a prophecy given to a sentient dude. So I say it's at ease for you to listen and deduce the wisdom that's gonna liberate and galvanize you. Under the sun ain't nothing new, that for black on black crimes and breaking news. Under the sun ain't nothing new.
You gotta stand up, stand up for what you believe in. Gotta stand up, stand up for what is right. Cause if you got me, then I've got you too. Regardless of what you've been through, even when you're feeling new.
where is the
Do this if we try. There's no time to waste, no time. Together forever, whatever the weather. Us as a unit working together.
See, I did not love done, but me heart still at home. God don't lift me up, but me heart still at ground. You will never go far if you don't know where you're from. So I don't do it for myself, I'ma do it for the young. Plead to my brothers, let's do it for the youngers. Why spend a bag on a jumper? Back where you're from, people dying with hunger. With people then they suffer. You then I you the bluff, it's copper. You the game need for change, like we not get up. Where's the love? Where's the love, yo? Where's the love? I said,
Where is the love?
Little youth, let's take time. Stop all the knife and the gun crime. Think of the future, paint that picture. Get a youth in the future. Peace gonna rain on me. Peace gonna rain on me. Yeah.
Let's stop the violence and come together. Get rid of knives and guns and bombs, let's be together. With peace and love, golden hope through storm and weather. See what is going on. Where is the love?
Tell me, how do you feel when you see your brothers and sisters lying down the street helplessly? And what will you do if you die today and find yourself in hell?
I want to ask you this. Look inside your eyes and answer me with all the truth.
the nephew will suffer. You know, get sense, you know, Sabi say nef na for butter. Stabbing guys, yeah, that's uncool. When it comes to knives, yeah, I'm anti. What happened to fighting guys with your hands, G? When you stab a man, it's not one man you stab. Just remember that you stab a whole family.
People killing, people dying, children hurt and hear them crying. You can practice what you preach, or you will turn the other cheek. Father, 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 help us, send some guidance from above. People got me questioning, where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? The love, the love. Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? The love, the love.
Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, and good night, depending on whose parts na the world you day. Welcome to Sierra Media platform. Usai, we did make sure say we bring you the narrative from the African perspective. We say the African story has to be told by Africans. So now, so we did, and we ready for talk to you. Me, we na moderator and presenter today na Juma Ba. This na an exclusive interview on our Zooming In program. Mind you, Zooming In usually we bring exclusives, you know, from people and from all walks of life, and they discuss issues in detail. So that's why we call it Zooming In. We try for ask them questions the way they're not can ask, and we delve deep into them beyond just the surface. So that's why it's called Zooming In. And Zooming In don't they run for over 5 years, and it's one of our exclusive program. So today with me, I get na my program, Cherno Alpha Emba, we na the editor for the Africanist Press, and also an author, and you know, just somebody where they add voice and try for ask the right questions, them at the right places them. So we go introduce them to now shortly and introduce waiting specifically what they talk about today. But like always, we always they ask Una within our platform. We welcome Una. We appreciate Una very much. Please join in the conversation. You know, ask your question through the chat group, and also if if we have time, we might open the phone line, so you'll have the opportunity to ask Cherno questions through our WhatsApp call line. In me with the studio, I have my what should I say? My co-presenter. I know this is a virtual world. A lot of things can happen. So we always get sub, the program not for stop. You know, the work not for stop. So I get with me Sylvester T-Boy Dugba, who is also the creative director for Sierra Media. T-Boy, say hello to our guest, please.
Hello, guests. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Me Sylvester T-Boy Dugba, as Juma say, we live in the virtual world.
And I see how if FIFA, we can say in our salon, if FIFA, look where he suit up in the African suit, they put me to shame with my shirts now. So I get for begin change anyway. So
I will begin.
Yes, I will begin. So what are you looking forward to?
What I look forward to now, they misrepresenting your costume there.
Really? All right. I will try. I guess I go call with them, go begin send me self-own costume them. No worry.
No, but today I look forward to a lot of different concepts of communication of what the program they about today, where they can challenge we self your role as media practitioners them. What are some of the ethics and some of the things how they practice and where make they practice them and for what reason. Whether they do them in the interest of us or for the interest of people they would work for or with. So I'm looking forward to this.
All right, thank you so much. And also behind the scene, we have our technical man, Mr. Obafemi Pama. He's looking all nice and trendy. The looks don't begin change for 2021, but it will come to, and I don't know if you want to say hello right now. You want to say hello to our guest, please?
Hi, guests. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy the show.
And what are you looking forward to?
An interesting conversation. As T-Boy say, we want to learn a lot because this is part of our field as well. For see if we say they do the right things or if we sometimes they do the wrong thing.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Well, we say Femi must post the phone number at possibly a little earlier, so our viewers will have the opportunity to call in, ask questions, or make their opinion. But as we always say, please keep it clean, keep it nice, and just respect we guests and respect everybody waiting at the chat line, but you're free to make your opinion and your own contribution. So as we be introduced to now, we say the issue about corruption, we all don't talk about them. Even the one that not sabi spell corruption or no know the definition, they always talk about corruption and can relate with her. Then can tell you, say, this thing where you they do, now corruption. We all don't fed up. We all unanimously as a nation, as Sierra Leone, we don't agree, say, now a stumbling block, now a barrier for we country in development, now a barrier for let we achieve we aspirations as a people. We don't agree on that. And we don't get so many promises then from successive governments, say they want to fight corruption, they are serious about the fight against corruption, and we don't hear so many things about no sacred cows and all of that. But waiting they see recently now that the people away really they say they're interested for fight corruption. We're talking about the new government don't come in 2018, and the President Julius Maada Bio stated that that's one of his flagship manifesto promise to the people of Sierra Leone. And when he came in, we saw how he went up, after the previous government or people that served in the previous government, they instituted a commissions of inquiry that was going on, and the report is out. So, but recently we don't see so many claims of fingers pointing against the government itself. We said in the fight corruption that, people within the government corrupt, and so many things don't they come out to talk about billions of leones or millions of dollars, through audit reports and all that. One person way always persistently or consistently don't they talk about corruption or don't they point fingers at government. Now, Mr. Cheno Alpha Emba, we will get now the studio today. And most recently, he's been like every week, something is coming out, against government institutions and possibly not necessarily individuals, but government institutions and private sector organizations. We allege, say, they participate in, peddling corruption or perpetrating corruption against the people of Sierra Leone. So we go say, let Mr. Cheno Emba say hello to we Fambulem today. Mr. Ba.
Yes. Thank you very much. Fambulem, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you day. And it's my pleasure for, doing at this show, and also, as always, help for share with views and opinions about what's happening at Salone and how for resolve some of these problems. Thank you very much, Sir Jem, for having me.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Ba, for being here. And I just want to make a quick disclaimer to the people that we the viewing. Me and Mr. Ba, we are brothers as Sierra Leoneans, and then we all belong to the same ethnic group, but we get the same surname. So we are going to say our brother in that part. But I want to follow on and know for say we all get opinions that we possibly we get different in opinions on different things them. And I just want to follow on and know that say now based on that we are here today on a professional level discussion issues that affect Sierra Leone. By the way, Mr. Ba, I like you blue and we wear understood today.
Yeah, now the Fulaman clothes.
Yeah, now the Fulaman clothes. I'm jealous. I get for good thief down there.
Mr. Wajima just don't put disclaimers in us abuse. We can't get trouble now. You are the onion.
No, I don't say I not Sabiamo. I just let the people that know for say. Yes, yes.
No, because the last time, what in them do me where somebody when them do ask a question and say all you do but then are the same. So if one asks and the other one asks.
Take replace one for another. All right, we will go straight to the conversation. Mr. Ba, You see with topic where we put out, we not discuss it with you. We just ask you, say, if you want to be a guest on our program because of all the publications that we don't issue out today. We see you emphasize a lot about investigative journalism and the importance in, the fight against corruption or in a country's development. So that will be the premise of our conversation today. And then we will talk about some of the articles, and allegations the way Africanist press, don't make, the front runner, and also don't see, because we see most of the writing is co-written work or co-published work, not just yourself, but with other people. So we say Africanist press as an entity. So before we go deep into that, we want to let you introduce yourself to Fambul. And the reason why this is important, because sometimes we think that people know also what we've been doing, based on possibly one thing what we see about that person there. So we want to know when, a little bit more about you, and when did you start all this fight against corruption, or, speaking about things that has to do with our development in Sierra Leone or Africa generally.
Yeah, thank you very much again once more for the opportunity for me to get this conversation. Roughly speaking, we'll say at least I've done the right now for the better part of my life. I would say at minimum 20 years of writing experience. Much of my work get to do with questions around human rights, questions around resource exploitation, violations of civil liberties. I entered into journalism basically because I feel say now an opportunity for make able use the media as a tool for resist dictatorship. Growing up in the 90s, much of West Africa been in crisis, from Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea, Ivory Coast. So the media has traditionally done the way we look back in the history, now a platform where people go engage and begin debate ideas around development. So now that I thinking they me get when I start for right. So for the most part now, I would say this don't span across 2 decades. I don't work in Guinea as a journalist. I learned a number of things with investigations, working with people from different experiences and background. Then at Sierra Leone again, I don't work with Democrat newspaper. I was former editor of Concord Times, and also I don't work with Critic News International magazine. Then internationally, I don't interact with various media projects. And at the current moment, me are the editor of the Africanist Press. Africanist Press now a media and independent media investigative journalism project where we set up for look at issues of democracy, good governance, and again help expose corruption and enhance free speech and the democratic environment in African countries. So for the last year or so, we done identify 3 emerging newly elected governments in West Africa: Liberia, Sierra Leone, and the Gambia, for begin look at how these governments differ on with the question of development, question of national unity, and also more so the management of strategic resources. So we current project in Sierra Leone where they look at the Maada Bio administration fall within this new 3-country projects where we don't develop. But for answer your question, yes, apart from a role in journalism, I also don't participate in the politics of Sierra Leone as an active political activist, and not only that, a member of the opposition. I was in 2009, I tried for form what we call a socialist party, and we get that difficulty there for having it registered. And after that, we formed a coalition in which I functioned as the spokesperson of the National Democratic Alliance, and I don't contest election for parliament in 2012 against the APC of Ernest Bai Koroma. And for the better part, between 2008 right up to 2018, I believe, say, people will remember, go attest to the fact that I remain at the forefront in the campaign against the excesses of the Ernest Bai Koroma government, and highlighting issues of human rights violations, issues of corruption. In fact, make I decide I'll go directly into political participation, because I feel we need for introducing the political landscape, some kind of a debate where we will shift the two-party monopoly which exists in the country between the SLPP and APC and all of that. And, that was a very interesting experience. So under Nkrumah, I write 2 books.
Okay. That was going to be my next question. That you're an author as well, and one of those books that I'm familiar with is specifically about the Ebola outbreak and issue of corruption, corporate gangsterism, and things like that.
Yeah, the Ebola outbreak book, interestingly, just fall within the fact within the outbreak in itself, but the general underlying theme of all my writings now one way for do with how multinationals and rogue politicians don't hijack, the African state, and also they use that as an avenue for transfer wealth, for enrich foreign companies and foreign investment. What they call multinational companies when tend for call foreign direct investment. We're thinking that what we largely can call foreign direct investment, the exploitation of natural resources. So under Nkrumah, 2 books were right, Neo-Colonialism in West Africa, and the book where deal with the Ebola outbreak as an entry point, address some of these issues of corporate gangsterism and the alliance between corporations and politicians for loot immense natural resources, that the idea of corruption in itself don't become the DNA of governance, not the DNA of and governance. So it's good for underline this, because I notice, for the most part, individuals within a power now, one for cast, my role as if a new phenomenon, because when this new government kind of power, I noticed that everybody will tend for raising voice can be categorized as an APC sympathizer or an APC supporter. And that is very disheartening, because and dishonest. Many of the individuals now in our power participate not only in sharing or cheering some of the views we are expressing. In fact, my book was published, the Ebola outbreak, the SLPP Unity newspaper, for example, reproduce page by page, verbatim, all of the book. You understand? I suppose we're even charging for that at the time, but that is the extent to which then identify with my message. And this, but for me, when I produce work, I do this part of my own commitment and my own responsibility as a citizen for highlight some of the challenges of governance and the consequences of how these 60 years of African leadership, indigenous leadership, don't lead to this development and suffering of people. So in a nutshell, my journalism done, at least I would point at 20 years of ongoing work, and all of that work was right. If I look back 20 years ago, I take up an article, if I read them, almost the same conditions where I talk about lack of electricity supply, lack of good roads, corruption within governments, human rights violations, violation of legislative procedures and all of that, and how corporations and companies can loot wealth. They're just the same. If I take articles I write now Guinea, today I look at them, the same thing. Articles I write about Liberia, the same thing. Most of Sierra Leone, all which I need now, just remove APC and put SLPP.
Right. So nothing has changed.
Yeah, well, some things have changed in the fact that the state, if we say something's nothing not changed, I think the level of corruption and the arrogance, the belligerence in terms of saying, will they loot this country and we not care, and then put out a bold face and pretend say we are not looting. I think that one, for me, now the most shocking thing what I don't see in these 20 years what I write about this thing. What are the seen now in Sierra Leone with the kind of arrogance and brazen boldness in terms of the passion for loot, wealth within a relatively short period of time, and the amount of money that has been stolen, for me is so unbelievable.
Okay, we can go into details in some of the allegations.
So we can't say that things have not changed. Things have really changed for the worse as it is.
Okay, we'll go into details soon. And thank you so much for sharing. You were just joined with this is Zooming In on Sierra Media platform. Today we have an exclusive interview with our guest here, Cherno Alpha Emba, the editor for the Africanist Press, who is an author, investigative journalist, and also what we refer to as a political activist as well, and a voice for the people. Mr. Badon share with we say he's been in this field for a good number of 20 years, 2 decades now. So it's not something new. So if you might be better off go research back and see some of him works than where you don't do, and possibly you were able to challenge him on some of the points that we already say. Now for just pull APC and put SLPP in the Sierra Leone case, and the same thing with Liberia and Guinea. Mr. Ba, we've talked about, I see, some of your writings out there, you've been emphasizing on investigative journalism, what some people refer to as, journalists or media practitioners have to stop being lazy, go after the news and not wait for the news. So what do you think, what do you want to share with us, over these years about the power of investigative journalism and how important is investigative journalism in the fight against corruption? We've seen other people, whistleblowers that like they call them out there. We saw the popular one that we know in Ghana, the guy, popular one we know in Africa, the guy in Ghana that's been exposing so much. So what do you want to share with us? And is investigative journalists a threat to society, or are they an important factor to help break the cycle of corruption and, promote development?
Well, I think that that speaks to the history of the press and also the role of the media in itself in any given society. You can hear this thing about the media should carry out its watchdog role. Basically, the media, people in the media for function as not only thinking representatives of the people by articulating the voices and grievances of the people, and also help to hold the leaders accountable to minimum standards of good governance. This is the traditional role of the press. And when you go back, what will they do now? I want to underline, not a new thing even in Sierra Leone. You go back in the colonial period, we get the famous ITA Wallace Johnson, for example, where expose the colonial states, corruption under the colonial regime with customs violation. Also use the media as a tool of resistance, as a tool for educate the people around their rights and the need for independence, the need for self-government and all of them here. So that is the traditional role of the press. That is the role of the press, the actual role of the press. And for the most part, when maybe they edit newspapers, are always they shy away from publishing press releases and workshop news, these press conference news. Yes, I go to press conferences, but I go to press conferences for ask questions about particular issues where no don't happen for seek clarification, because an opportunity to meet people in government face to face and also be able to ask them, because sometimes public officials, they shy away from the press, they hide from the press. So the purpose of press conferences is to give the journalists and the people in public service an opportunity for meet each other face to face, and where people will pose questions to these leaders these officials who they will always not meet. But increasingly, I noticed that press conferences and press releases now, they serve as, they don't put journalists in a situation where they are like conveyors of official opinion, like town criers. The president and state house dictate and say, with the quarantine, Cambia, and the journalist does not only in just the number for say yes, the government don't declare martial law. The point is, I think the media will start by asking whether the proclamation in itself fall within the requirements of the law, and what is the objective of that, what are the implications of that, and things like that. So going beyond the official narrative is actually what I consider as the actual role of the media. Other people don't choose to become spokespeople, because government already get your media people in, like now you look how many, 24 people have already been appointed as press attaches in various embassies across the world. So these are agents of the state for propagate government the own side of the narrative. So the independent press, the private media in itself, get their own sacred responsibility for represent the people, for be the people's voices, because we get plenty of people with ideas and we to suffer, but they not get the opportunity and the platform where we get for articulate them voices and they. So how do we serve as a bridge in terms of making people in power understand how public policy affects the masses. That's the role of the journalist, for report the impact and consequences of public decisions, public policy on the people. That's one. On the other hand, again, how ordinary people will understand that taxes that are being collected from market women, from custom duties and all of this are being used appropriately, whether they have been mismanaged or not. And the journalists, again, will go beyond the official explanation about how much money they have, how they've been using that money, by finding out exactly whether these claims by public officials are true. So that is where the question of investigation comes in, the detective work for the journalist comes in. And you cannot get that information by relying on what the officials will say. Because if there's corruption in the Ministry of Finance, nobody in the Ministry of Finance who is involved with that corruption is going to tell you exactly whether that corruption is happening. But you can see that corruption in the books, because you can able to look at, when we begin to investigate, first thing we'll begin to say, let's look at government expenditure, and looking at, so there are ways to go around these questions. But what are the type of saying that, yes, the media is central to holding governments accountable. The media is key to making democracy work. You cannot have democracy and good governance without an independent press, without a robust media, without independent journalists in the sense that journalists who are committed to telling the truth, and journalists who are committed to going beyond the official narrative and finding out exactly what is happening behind the corridors of power. Right. Because when we talk about governance and social contract, governments owe the people responsibility. That's why they're paid salaries. They are responsible to provide the common good for the people. It's a social contract. The journalist is there to ensure that social contract is kept.
Right. So do you think in Sierra Leone, the journalists or media practitioners or media institutions have been compromised, or do you still have independent ones in Sierra Leone?
During the 4 months ago, I will answer this question by just giving a scenario, an example of a little exercise what we do during the recent coronavirus lockdown. We commissioned an investigation into media finance, which we haven't published yet because we still get some edges to it, but I will announce it now. We do an investigation, select a couple of newspapers and media houses for find out exactly how these media houses have been doing with finance during the coronavirus, first 3 months of the coronavirus lockdown.
Okay.
Interesting with the kind of statistics we'll find out that one way we get around that, how we compare advertorials of these newspapers. We don't know the people who they advertise, because with the coronavirus situation, many of the NGOs shut down.
Yeah.
Okay, they're not being to operate again. So that means it led to the reduction in advert funding for newspapers. So many of the newspapers that were coming out because they were receiving adverts from government, and then we aggregate this number of newspapers and the number of advertisements we get. We find out that a large sector of the so-called private media that's owned by individuals, owned and run by journalists who are now members of the current administration, whether they are board chairmen, they are members of parastatals, they've been appointed into government institutions, we are receiving more adverts. Okay, they made more money under the corona situation than they even did during the Ebola situation. So we find out that the revenues of newspapers like Global Times, for example, and I named these newspapers because the records show that Global Times, as you know already, was edited by Sori Fofana, who is now appointed by government, and his editor is also a member of the board or chairman of the board of the Sierra Leone Road Safety Authority, one of these institutions. So the paper makes more money in adverts than they used to make under previous situation. So you see that at every given, so in that kind of situation, you don't expect a newspaper like that for go beyond and find out exactly whether coronavirus funds have been mismanaged. In fact, when we publish the issue of salaries, for example, we publish, say, the Ministry of Finance get an overbloated wage bill. And only that the salaries of political appointees are in most cases 10 times or 20 times more than the salaries of regular civil servants. The Minister of Finance decided to publish a press release and pay for the press release. So they spent between 15 to 17 million leones paying to respond to an article which highlighted a significant problem. Because we talk about wages, you're talking about the welfare of workers in government. So all what you, instead of going back and sitting and say, okay, we don't admit, say this is an existing problem because we identified this problem and made it a campaign promise to address this situation. Now we failed to address it in 2 years. Now that journalists are highlighting the impact of this situation, let's go back and address it. Instead, the ministry decided to pay money to newspapers to reproduce their press release. Why? Ethically, if I was an editor of a newspaper or I own a newspaper, I would not publish such a situation like that. I would decide for also interrogate, go beyond that particular, that is an argument. So find out, but the newspapers will willingly publish that and make it even a front page story. Okay, the newspapers will decide to take, journalists will take sides. As it is right now, will they fight against him? Will they expose timber corruption, expose all these stories? What you find is that journalists taking sides with government against what the Africanist press is publishing and working very hard to try to discredit what the Africanist press is publishing, because these publications affect their patrons in power, affect certain ministries and institutions that are providing them with advert funding, funding. You ask yourself why, for example, people know they interrogate these mobile companies, Africell, Orange, all these companies that are making huge monies from people, exploiting people, because these corporations, they advertise with these newspapers, not because they want their products to be known. That's a way of capturing the press, making sure that if a newspaper is making 10, 20 million a month from Africell, they will not publish anything that has to do with, for example, Africell making excess amount of profit and is not even paying taxes. They won't talk about that. Okay. And you see all this reflected in all of this situation, because corporate hold of the media, corporate capture of the media, the same way the corporations capture the state, they capture the private press. And so if you want to look at whether the press has been fulfilling its mandate, and that's some of the issues I will look. But then the question is, why is the press unable to be independent? It deals with a question of finance.
That, because I was going to come to that to say they're running a business as well, not just producing news and information or education for the public, but running a business. And as a business entity, they have to survive. They have staff to pay. They have bills to pay, utility bills, and so on and so forth. Even if they're not making profit, but they want to break even and stay in business for produce news and information. So that would be their counter argument.
Yeah, that is perfectly understandable in a society where poverty, the level of corruption, that's why we have to fight against corruption. That's why the journalist owes it a responsibility to the people. The question is, you should be able to be in business and be able to thrive without having to participate, sharing in the loot that's taking place. The question you have to ask yourself is, how much of the money that is being stolen, and as against the pittance that you've been given, how much money is corporations, multinational corporate mining companies, politicians are stealing, how much money has been stolen? Now you have a single financial secretary who is paid 80 million to 90 million leones, $8,000 to $9,000 a month, when a university professor is not paid up to $2,000 a month. Okay, if you the journalist want to address that kind of situation, you have to fight for a campaign. You have to support a campaign that is designed to expose this salary corruption, this payroll corruption, so that we talk about harmonization of the public payroll, where if you pay university professors the equivalent of a salary, for example, that is commensurate to the salary of ministers, nobody will leave the university to participate in this kind of corruption that's happening. So you get the situation now increasingly with people who are supposed to teach at universities now will increasingly decide to be part of the public service, because the public service is where they will loot money. It's not because of the salary, they will loot money, they will be involved in corruption. So the journalist now is fighting not just to stay in business, but to share the loot, that crumbs of the loot that's taking place. So we have to distinguish between doing business and supporting corruption. And supporting the ongoing exploitation of the masses, the ongoing exploitation of the and they do it. If we highlight a situation where, for example, how can you fight corruption by giving a monopoly license to your friend? The president, for example, gave the sole timber license, a sole license, monopoly license to his business associate. And when we talk about that, the people in the media will support that, because that individual who is stealing who is participating in the theft of depriving the country of millions and millions of dollars in national revenue, is giving them, I mean, not even 1% of the loot, not even 0.1%. A pittance of the loot is what they have been given. And they are willing to sell their integrity, to attack what is supposed to be work that is done for the interest of to advance the country because of their own selfish ends. So we perfectly understand that the private media has to be in business, but the private media should be subjected to ethical standards of practice.
Okay.
We have to abide by, those rules of humanity. You talk about the gone are those days now when we talk about human interest stories.
Right.
Development. So this is what the role of the journalist. We can't sacrifice the development of the country for our own, in pursuit of our own individual happiness. That's what I'm trying to say, as against national interest.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Ba. And you will just join with. This is zooming in, an exclusive interview today with Cheno Alpha Mba, the editor for the Africanist Press, and also author where they talk about issues we get for the national development and corruption. Bring your questions them in, and also we go open the phone line shortly. But Mr. Ba, so let's go to the big elephant in the room. You've highlighted, say you don't deal with the Liberia, Gambia, and Sierra Leone, project for, all the issues here. So let's go specifically on the Sierra Leone projects as part of the Africanist President project. Let's go specifically to the Sierra Leone part. So tell me something. Why that? Why una consider Sierra Leone, and why una for put the spotlight on the President Bio government?
Well, in the first place, we get to look at the manifesto of the current SLPP government of Maada Bio, for example. We fight much of the campaign between 2008 to 2018 against the Nkrumah government, who were centered largely on issues around public graft, misappropriation of public funds. We see with the Ebola situation and all that. But not only that, again, the heightened level of political corruption, the violation of the constitution and all of this. So basic standards of good governance were highly a problem. So the SLPP decided for campaign on a promise that they are going to resolve these issues. They are going to end the large wage bill. That's what they promised. They go for cut down public expenditure, they go for block wastages in public finance management, and also they go for promote transparency in governance. So these, among other things, were basically what they call the new direction. So in a way, while the alternatives were very thin, and there was a crisis of choice for many of us who have been talking about how to break out of the politics of monopoly where these two parties exercise. But in 2018, there was no solid alternative that led to this kind of agenda. So now we have Maada Bio in office. And as you rightly say, much of the rhetoric that has been coming around is that the APC is corrupt. The SLPP, according to the chief minister, ran a racketeering enterprise in which there was a one-time loot of national resources. We see the transition report, we see the commissions of inquiry, forensic investigation into banks of Sierra Leone and all this. All the reports then come out with a single conclusion. You don't even need all those processes because these messages or conclusion of the report are nothing where everybody in Salone know or see with African minerals, the Ebola thing, the mudslide. So people, it's not like the people were aware of these issues. So, but for the last 3 years, almost 3 years of Maada Bio, this is the only message we've had. The only message we've had is that, first and foremost, the country has been run bankrupt. There is an empty national treasury caused by the corruption of the Nkrumah regime. And then the government is mobilizing the country against the officials of the former administration, which is anything that we would want to be done. We don't want people to loot national resources and get away with them. But at the same time, we've spent 3 years of a 5-year mandate talking about this one question that the transition report talked about, that the Commission of Inquiry talked about, and all of this. So let us, it don't deprive the country the opportunity of holding this new government to account on these aspects of their manifesto, the promises that they made. Okay, this government made promises and they were voted on those. And one of those promises is not to go after, not just to go after Kuruma, but to ensure that public finance management is, these wastages, that the wage bill for be reduced. Also that there should be increased transparency in governance and all of this. Have they kept those promises? For me, as an individual, I want to find out exactly whether the corruption I've fought against under Ernest Kuruma is still ongoing, okay, or there has been a reduction in that corruption, and whether the quality of governance has also improved since we voted out Ernest Kuruma. For me, the APC has been defeated, okay, in 2018. We don't defeat them. As the consequences, we serve Ernest Kuruma, the consequence of his own governance, okay? So now the new dispensation is Maada Bio and his new direction. We therefore hold them accountable on the promises. So I wanted to find out exactly whether this Maada Bio regime has delivered on its promises of improving transparency, being disciplined with public finance management and all of that. And that is why the Africanist project decided to focus on this current situation. We want to examine governance in its present continuous form, okay? Not just at the past. So in the evaluation of the present continuous actions of those who are in power, as opposed to the government's effort for just for examining corruption in the past tense, which we think we've already done for 10 years, we can't just be doing that. Now we got to look at these new people in power in their new direction, whether they are actually different from what we saw in the 10 years of Ernest Kuruma. So that is. So
what have been your findings so far?
Well, completely disappointing, to say the least, if that is a complete word. So there's a different people. In fact, increasingly people are talking about corruption in this government, but they've not been able to point a finger at some of these things and they even increasingly have said that the anti-corruption rhetoric of Maada Bio is being used as a smokescreen, as a mask to clamp down on his political opponents. It is part of a process to consolidate his own hegemony because he hasn't come to power through an overriding majority. So the only way he wants to consolidate power is by a slander campaign, a state slander campaign in which you slander your opponents, you criminalize them, and to the point that even public opinion has been criminalized because now anybody will talk and say, but you're not APC sympathizer. To the extent that some of the SLPP people, when we started this work, were even describing me as an APC sympathizer. They forgot that for the 10 years that we were active, their party newspaper produced everything that I wrote. So they don't forget, but they even go to the point. But this is what I'm saying. The levels of corruption under these 3 years have exceedingly, made Kuruma almost a saint. This is the reality that people need to know, The level of violence in the country has intensified. The abuse, the flagrant abuse of legislative processes. For example, how can you fight corruption by giving a timber monopoly? Who gives a monopoly? Who fights corruption by monopoly? How you go give Leadway and Babadi Kamara, who is a friend of the president, member of his SLPP Finance Committee campaign committee, the sole right to export timber?
So is this just a mere allegation or proof?
No, it didn't a letter. The president, this is an order, executive order from State House, which made Leadway the sole timber exporter. And Leadway and Babadi, they are SLPP members. They are members, not only SLPP members, they were members. This individual is a member of the president's finance campaign committee. We've shown evidence of that. And up to now, nobody has disputed the fact that this guy is the sole timber exporter. The question is, how was he awarded that contract with no tender, no bidding, and nothing? And you say they fight corruption. Who does that? And the people of Sierra Leone have been unable to see this because of the noise, the ongoing state propaganda. This noise where the SLPP and its troops of propagandists have been making us to believe that the only thing we have to talk about corruption is about Ernest Kuruma. We've talked about that for 10 good years, for a whole decade. I have written 2 books Okay, at least on Ernest Koroma and corruption. I don't even know the number of articles who are done right on Ernest Koroma. In fact, 80% of the content on the Africanist press has to do with the corruption of the APC. So we will not spend the next 3 or 5 years talking about the APC that we have defeated in 2018. The question is, let's talk about transparency under Maada Bio. Let's talk about how did the SLPP find it right to give procurement contracts, trade licenses to members of their party, members of their families and friends without tender, without due process, in violation of the national legislations and instruments we get. So, whether the wage bill has also been reduced, and the wage bill has blown out of imagination. Okay, so
I'll come to the wage bill. I'll come to the wage bill shortly, but now you've mentioned the issue of timber, and I see you highlighted a lot of things, and that has caused an uproar and counter arguments then don't come in. According to, I listened to an interview we then do with Mr. Babadi Kamara, I don't know him. He say, since in take over, the timber thing, it don't harmonize the process. There's been so much confusion, and also the governments don't, trumpet a lot, say, now the first time the country benefits about $54 million, where the government gets back from timber. So what now the same thing you find out, or is it different from what you find out?
In fact, people will be shocked for understand that the laws of Sierra Leone provides the value timber export by container. It says by cubic meter. Okay, the custom records alone tell we for 2019 alone that we have over 2.2 million cubic meters that were shipped out of Sierra Leone. And for those over 2.2 million cubic meters that were shipped in 2019 alone, they not pay the commensurate levy and taxes. These are taxes or custom dues, revenue. They not pay because by making the valuation of the revenue we're supposed to pay by containers, they basically smuggle, they cheat the country. You are robbing the country of the old stuff. So you smuggle the export, that's one. So the law says you for pay for each cubic meter $2,500. Now, make the people of Sierra Leone take their calculators and multiply 2,500 by 2.2 million. What you will have is so amazing, it will be shocking. Over $5 billion. This is nothing we miss a safe.
5 billion?
Yeah, in revenues. Now we're supposed to forget. They say there is a government audit right now that this SLPP government is trying to suppress, which discovered that in 2019 alone, by not following the required metric measurement where they're supposed to use for evaluate the timber export, they have undervalued the export by 5.5 billion. That is more than the GDP of the country. So what that tells you is that
dollars or in leons?
I'm telling you about dollars.
Wow.
Even me, I see that at the report, we did not even include this in the Africanist press publication so far, because we had to send this to experts in the IMF and World Bank and other institutions for help we determine exactly whether this is exaggerated or not. Okay, and we've been able to confirm the last couple of days, which we are going to publish as well. Because when we see this, we almost think it was a typographical error. We think then we had to look at the custom records at the Wataki, the Asikuda records. So Babadi has been going around showing the public and his media people his own sales book. Okay, where they audit somebody, not the person sales record they look. Go. I'm telling journalists, when you want to do a triangulation, okay, where you check the sales record of the individual in question and check the customs record, then you will know how many quantity of timber has been shipped out for 2019 alone. And according to the government, their own audit, internal audit, it says the use of containers instead of cubic meters to value the revenue that was supposed to be paid to Sierra Leone as taxes, export taxes for some of these things, they've deprived the country of what would have been a potential $5.5 billion that they will have had on revenue. That the evaluation. This not talk about what and don't make in terms of sales and things like that. So you can calculate this. So we did not publish that information because for us initially when we saw it, the The thing was exaggerated. We don't believe, say, Sierra Leone get that amount of wealth. We even asked Babadi Kamara, and we interviewed with her, say,
oh, when I talk to Babadi himself.
Oh, yeah. We interviewed Babadi Kamara and asked him the question specifically, in which we said, we have seen this government report in which it is mentioned that you people have deprived the state of Sierra Leone revenues that would have been to the tune of 5.5 billion. His response was, and I quote him directly, that even if we sell all the trees in Sierra Leone, we will not get that figure. That's what he said.
Wait, I'm still trying to...
Yeah. I was traumatized for 2 weeks when I saw that figure, and up to now. Because what that tells you is that if we are able to manage the resources in the country, we prevent them politicians here from looting the resources. We get good systems. This country has no reason, Sierra Leone has no reason going to the IMF and World Bank, but they're not going no reason for go prostrate like slaves in front of the MCC for just $40 million when they are stealing billions. Okay, and one thing we need to know, where the Africanist movement for established, that the fact that much of the money that's been stolen from timber export is being kept in offshore bank accounts. They're not accounted as a loan. Okay, and that deprived the country of significant foreign exchange earnings. Now, this makes it say the currency of Sierra Leone is still collapsing rapidly, uncontrollably. They believe. Okay, so we are going. We try to ensure that in the next couple of weeks we will publish not just this report that talks about the undervaluation of timber export, the depriving of the country of potential revenues that would have been in the billions of dollars, but we will also try to show evidence of where this money is kept outside the country. In bank accounts in Asia, like Indonesia, in South Korea, how some of our embassies have been used as conduits for the transfer of some of this wealth. Okay, so I'm saying this openly because I want the politicians who are involved in this situation to know that what the Africanist project has started, it's not just a fly-by-night kind of project. We are serious about holding governments accountable. So those individuals who are watching, who are media people who've been collecting pittances from some of these thieves, public thieves, to defend and cover their corruption, you have a lot of job ahead of you. And I'm sure you're going to make more money. I'm happy that these politicians will perhaps share some of this loot with some press people, because if they are stealing millions and billions of dollars and depriving the country of significant revenue, and they are taking 1,000, 5 million, 10 million loans and giving it to you to defend them, know that you are going to get more money, because I will assure you that the Africanist press is going to publish continuously more evidence of this corruption, both within the country and where the money is kept outside. So that way, you will be giving more money to write, to defend these people against the truth that we are publishing. I'm not worried about that. I just want, maybe that is one way some of these stolen money can trickle down to journalists, like you said. That's one way they can stay in business. One way of staying in business is by defending and collecting proceeds. Defend the corrupt and collect the proceeds from them. So we will make it possible for you to do that. We will publish details of this corruption so that journalists who want to defend the corrupt will be able to be in a better position to defend corruption and collect the proceeds of the corruption.
So in the process of your investigation, Mr. Ba, on the issue of the timber, you say you talked to Leadway, then the person really in charge, Mr. Babadi Kamara, and we know for say the issue of timber is being directly supervised by or monitored or under the supervision of the office of the president, where now the chief minister in office. Will I be ever get opportunity for bring this to them or talk with them as well, for like you and your own perspective, waiting them find or share our findings with them?
Well, the report, the fact of the matter is that the president gave Leadway the right to monopoly rights, and the subject of the undervaluation is Leadway, and Leadway is executive. So when we get to the question of, we get for account to the question of the chief minister and public officials, because that is where the story is. What is happening to the timber money that's been exported out of the country? What is actually happening to it? We didn't get the bank account. So when we get to that details, we will definitely contact the individuals whose names, who own these bank accounts and where these monies have been paid to. So that is the time that the question you are posing now will be posed to some of these individuals. Now they're talking about money laundering, you're talking about the granting of contracts and all of that. But there's a reason. There is a reason why the president will decide out of all people the president would decide to give Babadi the right to be the sole importer of timber. So the question the media should be asking is, what is the relationship between Leadway, Babadi Kamara, and President Maada Bio and his family? And again, if we say that Babadi has been shortchanging the country and not paying the exact revenue that is supposed to pay from the timber export, then the question is, if a government audit has said that, then the question is, what is he doing with that amount of money? Who is he paying taxes to if he's not paying it to the government of Sierra Leone? So that addresses your question. These are questions that every journalist, we were hoping that when we published it, the journalists should go beyond just looking at. But I see that Standard Times is taking on these questions, which is what we're encouraged, because every day we review the papers that are coming out from Sierra Leone, and we are very pleased to learn that Standard Times has been, so far, one of the only newspapers that has been consistently raising significant questions about how timber exports and Leadway are depriving the people of Sierra Leone the much needed revenue that we need to undertake national economic and social development. We do not need to deal with IMF and World Bank debts that will never be repaid. Right. If these people are making this amount of wealth is there, and we're talking about timber alone. We're not talking about mining. We're not talking about fisheries. We're not talking about, the immense natural energy, environmental, and other kinds of resources, marine resources that we have. We're talking about just one aspect of our environmental resource that is yielding this huge potential that is even more than the GDP, our current GDP. So that is to us, I was shocked to see that. And I'm not the one who computed this figure. This is a figure that is reflected in a government report. The government did its own internal investigation to find out the potential revenue that is supposed to come from timber, and they discovered this unbelievable amount of money that we are losing as a consequence of this smuggling of the timber resources. But we have been able to trace this timber exports to their final destination, to their ports of destination. We have also been able to trace some of the proceeds of this investigation. And I'm assuring the people of Sierra Leone that we're going to make this information available. We are committed to making it available. We've shown that anything we promise to publish, we will publish it. Because in the final analysis, if we have to talk about corruption, we have to hold leaders accountable. Okay? We cannot have this situation ongoing. So we cannot just be talking about Kuruma when this massive theft is taking place.
Okay.
People need to know about it.
Right. So another question, because if we say we're in the fight, fight against corruption and try to expose, we have institutions charged with that responsibility. I ask you, you say, when I will get to the, office of the president or the chief minister specifically, where as when they go into an investigation and unearth some certain things, when I will ask questions. So what has been your collaboration with the Anti-Corruption Commission? Has there been any, communication when I don't tell them about things they want, I don't find, or then say don't approach you now on anything at all?
Well, the role of the press is to highlight issues of corruption, issues of mismanagement of public resources, misappropriation of public resources, okay, and provide this information in the public domain. And if there are institutions, we hope that leaders, when leaders are made aware, that's why. But you find out that since Maada Bio Kanapa, there's an increasing suppression of democratic rights. Okay, there's people are being kept in jail as we speak. You get political opponents of this government, whether the charges brought against them or not, are being kept in jail perpetually without even trial. Not too long ago, we had the situation of Darami and others who were kept in jail for more than a year without due process, and they were eventually released, but still going through that kind of situation. So what am I trying to say is that our own role, we basically do our own role here as a press organization for highlight and expose some of this corruption. So it's upon the people of Sierra Leone and the leaders who are saying they are serious about fighting corruption to pick on this, to show us that they are actually serious about fighting corruption and not just fighting the APC. So the Anti-Corruption Commission will have to show us their commitment to fighting graft, to fighting mismanagement, by fighting the present continuous corruption, okay? Not just corruption in the past tense. We are saying if you are serious about fighting corruption, yes, fight corruption in the past tense, but also fight corruption in the present continuous tense. But it will interest you to know that when we publish the revenues that have been missing from foreign travel taxes that have been stolen, the Anti-Corruption Commission came out with a press release without even contacting us to find out the details, but came out with a press release to shut down our publication, to say what they said was that they've investigated the issue. In fact, the people have been arrested. The thieves of that money have been arrested. One of them is on the run, and that the matter is in front of a judge in a court, and that they've even recovered about half of the money. Then it turned out that that press release was a lie, was completely false. That the press that what we are talking about, the cases were basically of individuals who had worked under the APC. So this tells you what it tells us was that the ACC was only concerned about corruption when it has to do with the previous regime of Ernest Bai Koroma. And we think more than that, our interpretation of the press release, because the Anti-Corruption Commission is not staffed by juvenile individuals. They are supposed to know their work. And they will not put out a press release in response to our public without reading what we wrote. What we wrote was completely dealing with issues under the Maada Bio regime in 2019. What we are talking about were issues that happened in 2018 when Ernest Koroma was in power. Okay. So they are not dumb not to see the difference, but they did that completely because they want to deceive the people that they are actually, what the Africanist press is publishing is nothing new. They had dealt with it. That is to trivialize the public and also deceive. But we think that's a pattern. Is a deliberate tactics.
Okay, hold it there. We'll come back to that because I want to ask you specifically on that other publication there. But before we go, I just want to remind viewers them say this is zooming in, and like we say, we guest them exclusive interview for ask questions like this, because in we debate program definitely you are limited with time and give everybody fair an opportunity. But here you delve deep, into the issues. We come back to Najis now with Chair Norway will talk about the other aspect of the publication. But I want to go to Sylvester Duba for come to we and see how the chat group they go and if there are any questions. And also we will try for open the phone line shortly for see if you have questions as well or comment. T-Boy, are you there?
I'm here, but if I make you listen to the video, I will come out.
Okay. Femi don't censor you right now.
Let me get the habits for the sense of me, I try for getting the video. No, you don't release me.
Okay, you don't release me because you see they get pitched. You don't zoom into the conversation.
That's why it's called zooming in. You have to zoom in deep into what Mr. Badi say, because these are like spectacular investigative journalism.
Because right now, T-Boy made the spin right now. But go ahead, please.
Well, I don't know specifically where to start, but the chat group is very engaging. Then they get a very intense discussion among all what Mr. Badi say. Most of it has been endorsed. Most of it is being said like, oh, this is not a good recommendation, Mr. Badi. Some people, everyone for joining the organization, for joining the campaign.
Yeah.
So basically, this is moving on a smooth platform wherein not much question is being asked other than how comes they know all the information they also and we still fight corruption. But there's been two specific questions. One where they say, Mr. Ba, I love your work. Do you think the media in Sierra Leone has the resources that is needed to do investigation that has not come from the same mediums that they should be investigating? That's one on the chat group. The second one, Mr. Ba, if you are given the mandate to fight corruption at this critical moment, what will be your strategy as how to navigate it? Those are the two specific questions from the chat group. And my own opinion on the issues that we don't highlight. Now, one way the question comes also from the chat group, we say, how you go able for fight corruption if Salon get the atmosphere for media practitioners. What I want to ask, is it mandatory to have access to all these documents from all the ministries or government institutions when they realize they try to do an investigative journalism into some of their activities? And then secondly, what in actually they make a front page story and why? Because if then they give you front page story of issues that we really, I'm not going to say matters, but issues that were not too much of a headline issue, where they want to know, how can they make it as the headline front page issues then? Is it based on the fact that these are people who are in operatives with the institution they already deal with. So it's like paid media, wherein I pay for the front page and everything that comes on the front page belongs to me, whether it is important or not. Then also, is it safe to do investigative media work in Sierra Leone based on the fact of the previous incidents which happened between a media practitioner and the chief minister, where being get so much issue, where warrants the money arrest and afterwards was released, and we don't hear nothing about that no more. Will you really advise for like investigative media be a theme of the present in Sierra Leone, being the fact that corruption is at its highest peak according to the statements and the evidence of your findings in your practice of African, is it African media?
Africanist, yes.
Africanist press? Because what's in me, they see now, I don't know whether you will still have that same privilege if you were in Sierra Leone doing all this investigative work and go free. Whether not the Anescoma government or the current government, we don't know. But like you clearly say, you've been doing this for the past 20 years, and over the past 10 years, I believe say you've been in a salon at some point, because I remember say you were stationed there at some points doing some of this work. So is it the same platform as it is right now? What kind of advice you go for give to media practitioners? Because your last statement to the fact that you want for like the people the way they defend government institutions, forget money for being paid a bit more because then they only give them peanuts. So
they say they will get more opportunity because them findings them, they give them more work because people then get for they go to them for let them defend them.
Well, yeah, now that's how they say.
Yeah.
Is that a better way, or you feel say we for just be focused and be truthful and play a role to the society or the people of Sierra Leone more so to individuals? Because I think this is a very serious issue. Because this timber issue, now one of the issues that will led to the sacking of the former vice president, now APC. So basically, it is being swept under the table like the timber issue is nothing. And we all know what's in the issue about deforestation now all over the world, where countries and they fight against deforestation. And I don't think they say that kind of practice, they don't look common as alone. So is it because of the timber issue now, one of the biggest money-making industry in the world right now, we make, then they put under the, then they sweep under the table like for say not an important issue. Based on your findings, there is billions of dollars to be made. We're going to make, we even go and ask for loan from the IMF and support the country. So these are very serious findings. And like you clearly say, you're going to make these findings open to the public. But the other question is, will it make any difference? Although we know for say it will stain the current government in position on corruption, it will discredit their fight against corruption. But what physical or financial difference will it go make for make Sierra Leoneans them benefit, even though when these findings don't become public? And my last question is: the Africanist press the new Sierra Leone WikiLeaks? Because these are things that were they beyond the average media practitioner in which Nasalon. So basically, when you're ready to dip or to investigate deep into these issues, you're definitely going to face a lot of obstacles. Are these obstacles being challenging, or they are not really challenging because you get the right to information sharing?
Okay, hold on. Thank you so much. Where you
I don't overload you the question.
Well, you don't overload them, but the questions I think are all interrelated.
Right.
So I'm sure Mr. Bag will do try his best for answer some of them or give, share your opinion about them. Go ahead, Mr. Bag.
Yeah, I think some of the questions I'm not gonna forget what we call, as is rightly said, Juma. This now then for deal with security of investigators. Okay, then for deal with the cost of investigation, and then for deal with the kind of environment under which such investigations are conducted. I will start with the kind of environment. You point at something will draw me back to thinking. Much of what we do now, in fact, with Africanist press, in not reach to the level of the kind of work we will do under Ernest Koroma for expose corruption and also stand up against Ernest Koroma. Anybody we been in a saloon between 2008 to 2018, go including the SLP people within a power now, if they are very honest to themselves, then go attest to the fact, say, the kind of robust campaign we will wage against Ernest Koroma, we not do 10% of that yet with the Maada Bio. Maada Bio has not faced actual opposition scrutiny up to now, actual media scrutiny. For the large part, the media has been compliant with the Maada Bio regime for a number of reasons, either because of the level of intimidation that don't take place in the country, the kind of brigade, the equivalent of a political militia that is in power now. And people don't decide for exercise self-censorship and not to talk much. But I was on radio in Sierra Leone for the most part. I not even left that whole 10 years, talking, writing, talking. I never would not be encountered this level of repression, we would say. But now, interestingly, I get a number of people calling me every day. They tell me, say, oh, Cherno, no can salon right now, including people within the circles of the SLPP, where they tell me, say, hey, today I don't talk, say, then go vex by you. And I have decided that by next month I will publish all these insults from SLPP supporters, sympathizers, people using fake names and fake whatever. They text me, they write me all kind of private messages with insults and threatening remarks. We go attack you. We will take Kana Salon. So that volume of attack, I have never experienced it. Under the 10 years we criticize Ernest Koroma together with JJ Safa, together with all these people in power now. We are going to radio stations talking about Ernest Koroma, corruption and mismanagement, and what are going to be hosted there. Okay? Without the fear of thinking that somebody, but now even people within their circles who are supposedly people I know are calling me to say, oh, this person don't say so, they say if you can't, so they're even planning that if I go to Sierra Leone, they will arrest me, they will do so, which I am saying I'm not afraid of those things. Okay? I only day outside of Sierra Leone right now because I study and do research for my PhD. As soon as I free now, I will come. Then we will do the same face-to-face engagement, because people should not be silent and afraid of dictators, because Maada Bio and his political militia in power, they think that the only way they can exercise control of power is by scaring people. This force, say we go intimidate everybody, my government will hit and hit harder. I mean, who says that kind of language in a democracy? Democracy is constant engagement, constant negotiation, is a work in progress. So I can understand as well why there are genuine people who are now collaborating with the Africanist press. We're not able to do this work without having very dedicated and committed individuals who are assisting with our investigation, which we cannot say. But it's not by magic that what is happening in the Africanist press is happening. It's not by miracle. We are a team of people, staffed, well-drilled and well disciplined, and also know how to find information. I think key to investigation it has to do with trust. People need to trust the journalist. They need to trust you that when they give you information, key to that information is the protection of sources. Then one. Secondly, that this information they're giving, you're not going to sell it out.
Yeah.
That because people go receive information and decide, say, the best way they go do with that information, now go sell it to the people that are involved for me and get money. If people know that about you, they know say you can be compromised. Definitely, they are not going to trust you with critical information. Okay, because people will have to lead you. You also get to depend on people for give you particular leads. Or you can also tell people that there's a lead there. How do I get there? How do I get to point A to point B? People will not lead you from point A to point B if they know you are not trustworthy. So your integrity is key. And that integrity comes with trust. It comes with being able for reduce, this temptation, for resist temptation. So those people who are religious, I think I can put it in a religious way. The idea of fasting in religion, whether it's in Christianity, Islam, or any other religion, that for discipline the human body, for discipline the human mind, for tell you say any situation is temporal. Okay? For example, where they fast for Muslims, in the day you go begin to get all kind of food, banana, small banana, you want to get orange, you get all this food, flop the table. But when you drink one small cup of tea, you eat all that food there again. So it tells you in the moment of suffering, if you say not, you try for do any kind of thing, this uncontrollable desire for accumulate. So I keep asking myself, for example, when I see this amount of money politicians are stealing and their business associates are stealing, I begin to wonder whether they are taking this money with them to hell. Okay? If you look at the amount of money, for example, that we see in bank accounts that are stuffed outside of the country, in Indonesia, in South Korea, and all of that, I begin to wonder whether these individuals in power in just these 3 years have stolen this amount of money, whether they think they're going to escape with this amount of money, or when they die, they are going to take this huge money in bags with them to hell. Okay? So basically what I say, we therefore, it deals with discipline, and how we also understand we role in our society, and because people they say, oh, the poverty, a lot of people say, no, it deals with discipline, the level of discipline. So, and what fasting does or teaches people is about disciplining your human aspiration and desire. But key to investigative journalism work is trust. Now the key word down there. Nobody will trust you with critical information. They don't say you will sell the information or you will betray them. Okay, because it deals with people's lives and their livelihoods and their security, especially when you deal with thieves in power, when you deal with dictators in power, with army and police and all of that. So people look in Liberia, 2 auditors have just been murdered, because the whole critical information where the government tried to suppress, make it not go out. Now they've been killed, and there's an investigation to find out exactly how they were murdered and about. All it deals with the question of state secret. Right. That politicians have stolen money and somebody's trying to get it out and they don't want the information to get out, they kill people. And all over Africa, it's the same. You see Carlos Cardoso in Mozambique, a close friend of ours, where some of we call mentor, killed because he was investigating banks. You go to Gambia, you see Dedia Haidara, all of these people, the famous Delegiwa, Nobel Zongo in Ivory Coast. So all of this, but it comes with great risk. So the point is that goes to the question of whether if I will have been able to do it or I will do it because I'm from a distance. No, the long arm of dictatorship can try to get at you anywhere if you do this work. So we do this work because we feel it's an obligation. Namibian role as citizens is our national responsibility to tell the truth, to hold governments accountable, and civic duty. But that doesn't mean it doesn't come with great risk. Right. For me, each time I deal with information like this, I deal with 2 things: psychological stress. Like now, did I 5 billion? For I know. 2 weeks, I was like, what? 5 billion? The kind of it traumatizes me. I don't even believe I have to call people, friends in organizations, IMF. Well, my friend, I don't see this information. Can you verify this information for me and see what is the worth of Sierra Leone's? What is the worth? Begin comparing. What's the worth of Canada's timber export? Because it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that one of the reasons why we come out here for higher education is because institutions are all broken down. Why? There is no sufficient funding for public institutions for education and all of this, regardless of the rhetoric. You talk about free education.
You say that, Mr. Ba. What is Sierra Leone's GDP?
Oh, less than 5 billion.
Right.
4.15. You understand? Then you see this amount, you will begin wonder, say, what? That is why we were traumatized. For 2 weeks, we had to debate, and even we not publish the information, we decide to keep and force. We pull out. When you read the article we first published on Babadi and Leadway and Timber, that information is not there. This is something I'm just saying now because we've been able to verify and show exactly this was not even a typographical mistake from the government's own individual investigation. Then we got to trace this money different side before we come. Oh, so this is how much our country has in terms of natural resources.
Right.
Why do we have to talk about 40 million from MCC? They parade this MCC guy all over the place as if the country is so poor, and when they are stealing more money 20 times than this man. So you look at these people, you begin to ask yourself, do they have conscience? Are these real human beings?
Well, we hope where you get your findings about the 5 billion since now, so you first comes here. We hope you'll be here as well to share that with us.
So we publish this information. We just want to do. It's an ongoing process. This series will go right round.
So let's go to this other issue that you mentioned, the issue of the anti-corruption coming out for counter your publication on the aviation industry and taxes and so on, travel, taxes. waiting I be you finding. So clarify for me, because ACC anti-corruption come and discredit you completely, saying are false, and secondly, you mislead the public. So explain to me first, waiting have been the publication about, and how the two differ.
No, I think that anti-corruption not discredit the Africanist, but anti-corruption discredited itself. It's so obvious. We've never seen such incompetence in public, dishonesty and incompetence in public service performance behavior. In the sense, now, independent media organization investigate corruption. We have a situation outside foreign travel taxes. These are basically taxes that are paid by airlines who are flying to Sierra Leone. Immense amount of revenue. Now, an internal audit, NRA, for example, National Revenue Authority, they forget them money. So the NRA, we came to understand about it. We came to find out that the NRA discovered, National Revenue Authority discovered that the taxes that are supposed to be coming from these airlines are not being sent to the national account, to the central account, to the central bank. So they want to find out what happened. They go to Sierra Leone Civil Aviation Authority and investigate them. This is one government institution, investigate another government institution, not yesterday, but under the 2019 year, the first full year of the Maada Bio administration. So then find out, say, in fact, 3.2 billion, for example, they not see them. They know the trace under the account. Okay.
Billion leons?
Billion leons.
Okay.
They know this. They not see this money. So then check. Then conclude, say, we not see no evidence of inside this money. They don't collect this money, but we not see another account. And then they find out, say, Sierra Leone Civil Aviation Authority operate different commercial bank and Zenith Bank instead of, now, say Maada Bio, they declare what they call single treasury account.
Correct.
All revenues are they for go. So these people set up different accounts in commercial banks. Okay, Standard Chartered Bank and Zenith Bank. In the Africanist, when you go to the Africanist website, we don't publish the bank statements. In fact, they're doing for anybody who is interested for see. So now, one of the airlines, Appease, for example, transfer money directly na this account then at the commercial instead of the account we're supposed to go. So we pose these questions to the management and leadership of the Sierra Leone Civil Aviation Authority. Their response was, one, that the transfer by mistake. They claim say the money not lost. They say the money, the airline Appease transfer the money by mistake to that account. But once they see the mistake, they send the money, go back that the account is supposed for go. Now,
so that means they don't send an NRA the single treasury account.
Yeah, that is what they are claiming. But NRA is saying, no, the money is not there. And we don't see the government report who indicates. So we also don't check this bank account. The money is still not there. Okay, so these are the claim. So these are the information we publish, basically, with the explanation of the people, how this discrepancy happened, how it not happened. We put the voices of all them here. Anti-corruption, just grab up, then say, and then in fact, we give the impressions, say, action not happy. Then we don't investigate this issue here. In fact, they don't hold the people away thief this money. Okay, now remember, Sierra Leone Civil Aviation Authority say the money not lost. The money didn't at the central bank. Anti-corruption say the money be lost. They don't catch the thief man there. In fact, one day they didn't caught. One don't escape. They don't see until now. So they're on the run.
So the left hand don't know what's in the right hand they do.
No, they know. What happened, and our investigation has uncovered that once people at State House see this article where Africanist press do, they wanted to deceive the public. They instructed Anti-Corruption Commission to write a disclaimer by indicating that they have investigated this issue. Okay, let me tell them now, because maybe they are listening, that we do not only investigate, fraud, and we also investigate responses to our articles, response to our publication. So we've come to understand that State House instructed the Anti-Corruption Commission for write this press release for counter the Africanist press. And they did it so badly, it was so badly a job done that it takes you just 1 second for see the cover up. They wanted to cover up. The impression that this is what they want to make the public believe, that after all, the Africanist publication was nothing, because now thing we've been happy in the past, let me not deal with her. Then it turned out it was a lie. The story, the article where the case where they refer to, now NRA people them, where they've been sacked. Okay, these NRA people, we are revenue officers, we are dismissed from the National Revenue Authority on allegations that they had stolen money. But what we come to understand is that they wanted to replace these people with their own party supporters. Okay. So they dismiss these people because they believe, say, if you look at the names, and they're all supposedly then considered the Northerners, and also, I don't know if I talk region, but these were all people from the North, people who they perceived as APC sympathizers, who they dismissed and replaced them with their own party people. And they accused them of stealing FTT funds. Now they want to use that case they for present, say, after all, this matter will be not investigated. When are two different matters. Okay, now let's even say that is the case. So what that press release underlined that, yes, there's an ongoing racket. People that don't set up a cabal, whether it started from Anes Nkrumah to now, but there is an ongoing arrangement where people steal taxes that are paid by foreign airlines into the country. And we don't present a case that happened in 2019. So what we expected anti-corruption to do in this case was to open up an investigation to investigate these current officials. But you're not going to do, and why? Because most of these guys in this institution that we are pointing, like Babadi, he's a friend of the president. These other guys in the Civil Aviation Authority are also tied directly to State House. So you have to ask, where are they taking this money? If you want to push the investigation further, you find out that most of this money might be going to State House or some other account that is tied to the SLPP. But the Anti-Corruption Commission, this is not a test for the Anti-Corruption Commission. Why we do this work? Now for put the Anti-Corruption Commission to the task. So if you want to fight corruption, here is corruption that's happening in the present continuous tense. Not corruption no way don't happen in Anes Nkrumah in time. This is not corruption way don't happen in 2019 exact. Not one way APC carry over. Now one way don't happen 2019. And specifically we choose an episode will happen between September 2019 to December 2019. So you can say this is not a hangover problem from APC, because the thing about SLPP, anytime you catch this government in stealing, including what we point out, what we say officials in the finance ministry we are receiving crazy salaries. They say we inherit them from APC. Now APC give you, and so we have continue. But now, so that is the practice. Anything way bad, they say the APC. Anything way good, the new direction. So this is what they wanted to say, that this is a corruption that was left behind by APC. But we say no. So it's a challenge we have put forward to the Anti-Corruption Commission. If they are serious about fighting corruption, the Africanist press will present them with 10 cases of corruption in 10 different departments. We've pointed Timber, we've pointed FTT, we are going to point NATCOM, we're going to point different departments, and 10. That's what we want to do. Let me read to them the plan. The plan is...
So now the plan they read, so tell me how
we are going to publish 10 articles, okay? That will document mismanagement and misappropriation of resources in the current administration in 2019 alone, 10 different departments. And when we're done, we will write an official letter to the Anti-Corruption Commission of Sierra Leone, asking them to investigate these cases and also offering our own expertise as a press organization to assist them in the investigation if they are willing.
Okay.
So let me read it to them.
So that you're not just publishing for the public, but you'll engage officially, saying are ready for help with your findings.
Yeah, this is to respond to the question you asked earlier about what we are going to do. And also the question about voting will happen. The role of citizens now is civic duty we don't take. We are not only going to highlight these corruption cases, we've published 2 articles, okay? This evening after this show, we will publish the 3rd article.
Which
will deal with other aspects of revenue, mismanagement, misappropriation, dealing with NATCOM. And when we've done that, we will continue this series in the next couple of days again, 10. We intend to do 10. Once we show 10 cases that have happened in 2019 in 10 different departments under the Maada Bio government, then we go say, okay, Anti-Corruption Commission, you are very robust in fighting corruption. Please, these are 10 new cases of corruption. And these cases again, and this evidence is not coming just from the Africanist press. It is evidence that is coming from your own internal arrangement, which we have also gone beyond by investigating and also packing together some of the documents to support this. So if you want to investigate this, we'll write an official letter from the Africanist press, offering not just the evidence, but also our expertise in investigating. If we guarantee security, we will send our own people to go there and help you to investigate. They might not even be Sierra Leoneans. It's not like say, want for hire people into Sierra Leoneans. I will guarantee you through this medium that I will help arrange, if you can guarantee the security of our own staff, people who will work with you, the Anti-Corruption Commission, to investigate the cases we are going to report, and also help you with the evidence so that you will prosecute corruption in the present continuous tense. Why we are doing that? We fought Ernest Koroma for 10 good years. I have written 2 books on corruption under Ernest Koroma, so it will be very unprogressive for me to continue talking about 10 years of corruption that I've been talking about. I want to talk about corruption in the present continuous tense that I've seen. So if you have not seen that corruption, I am willing to document 10 examples. I have provided you 2. Tonight, I will publish the 3rd one. It will be 3. There will be 7 more cases that we intend to publish through the Africanist press. And after that, we will write, if the anti-corruption has not taken any action, we will write an open letter. Just I'm saying, stating it open here, providing the Anti-Corruption Commission our willingness to provide this evidence and also collaborate with them to help fight this corruption. I know the Anti-Corruption has been signing agreement with all kinds of organizations, okay? Partnership. We don't need money. We don't need the money or partnership. We are offering our services for free. We will pay for our own people to go to Sierra Leone and assist you in fighting corruption in the present continuous tense.
So all you're asking for is
their willingness to work to prosecute these cases of corruption that are happening now. So we will know that the Anti-Corruption Commission is robust and serious about fighting corruption, not just arresting teachers and parading them. But they should arrest senior public officials of this government, leading SLPP party members. Leading. The reason why I underline this, I remember when I was an editor, I have said it. I have witnessed from the life of the Anti-Corruption Commission, and as my memory will serve me as a journalist, editor, and somebody who has been writing this and political activist, I have selected 2 anti-corruption commissioners that I admire up to now. And I want to admire this current commissioner if he will do work that I think is designed to fight corruption. And that will change my perception that he's not been used as a tool to fight political opponents. And that's what I want to test. These 2 commissioners I'm talking about is Val Collier, who in 2000, in the days of Tijan Kaba, prosecuted or raised corruption with Okere Adams, Harry Wheel, people in the SLPP government, to the point that SLPP became so angry that they accused him of violating procurement procedures and they dismissed him from the Anti-Corruption Commission and appointed Joko Smart. Okay, that's one individual. Up to now, I was editor of Concord Times. I will still remember Val Collier when he said, parliamentarians are like sick men in crutches. Now, I published it in the Concord Times because that was the highest frustration we've been expressed regarding his lack of how is he a government supporter to fight corruption anymore. This was somebody appointed who decided to go after corrupt people in the Tijan Kaba administration and was kicked out. Then Abdul Tijan Cole, we all know with the Income Electric saga and how he had to run away. So we want an anti-corruption commissioner who will embody the spirit of Val Collier and Abdul Tijan Cole, and more than that. That's what we want to do. The Africanist Press want to offer its services to the current commissioner and the current commission so that they will become robust commissioners and surpass, in our own estimation, the robustness of these 2 individuals I have mentioned.
So let me ask you a question. We know our president, His Excellency President Julius Maada Bio, and of course the Anti-Corruption Commissioner boss right now, Francis Ben Kaifala. There's this mantra, corruption is fighting back. So what's your take on that? Is corruption fighting back? Corruption they fight back? Now that's una they do so, or una they fight corruption?
No. But we don't. The evidence speaks for itself. The SLPP. I would ask anyone, go to the Sierra Leone Library Board. I know they keep newspapers. Okay, they keep newspapers of what we've done. No, don't look at any other newspaper. Look at the Unity newspaper, the SLPP's party newspaper, and look at articles in the SLP. Just look for 2018. Don't look too far, or maybe 2016, 2018. Check the articles I wrote, or you even look online. The SLPP Today, which is published by an SLPP member out of North America, has all these articles that I've written on corruption. So, corruption fighting back? No, that's not what the thing is. The thing is, Maada Bio has said he don't draw a line on corruption. And he said this is going to be the last commission of inquiry. And I had said to them, no, it's not going to be the last commission of inquiry because there is corruption that's still ongoing under the current administration. I've said we still need the real fight against corruption. And we want to provide our service to the country, not to the SLPP government, to the country in the interest of fighting corruption. Bimbi, say, we publish 10 examples of corruption cases across the current government, within the current departments of government. And then throwing the challenge to them. And I've said it here, I will repeat, hold me on my word. The Africanist press will fund its own people. We don't want government funding, no. Okay? It's not a job, not anything. We want to see the Anti-Corruption Commission work and in fighting corruption. We will provide our own people from here who are even non-Sierra Leoneans, as long as you can guarantee them their security and undertake, say, nothing will happen to them. We will send them go assist you and provide you the evidence again and assist you how to go about this investigation if you don't have the investigators. The anti-corruption has been signing agreements with different youth groups, and all these organizations. They've even hired communication consultants and all of these kind of people. We are providing free service to them now, okay, to help them chase corrupt people under the current Maada Bio administration. And then we see what is going to happen if Maada Bio and a group of people will allow the anti-corruption to work. If they not do that one, then the people will make a distinction whether they will judge them about their commitment to fighting corruption or not. So that's what I'm saying. Let us fight corruption in the present tense,
okay,
not the past tense. And we are willing to collaborate with that. And you don't have to pay us for doing this. We will pay our own people. We will pay their transportation. We will pay their accommodation if they go to Sierra Leone. Okay, we'll take care of them. Don't even buy them a bottle of water. We will do all that. All what we need is for you to fight and investigate these cases we are highlighting. That's what we want. And then we try to know how far these cases will go. That's what we're saying. So it's not, if corruption is fighting back, we will not choose to do that. That's why I'm putting all this, I'm reading this,
right,
the script to them.
Yeah. So what's in the inside the article that they published today? You have to give we something we'll look forward to on the NATCOM.
I've been one minute, but anyway, this is the thing, not a secret, because
we want to let we view as the area force.
We just get for deal with issues about debt. Okay. Mobile, we don't find out, say, telecommunications operators, mobile phone companies and other operators, then they owe the people of Sierra Leone, the government of Sierra Leone, billions of revenues, debt.
Do you know how much?
Africell, is one of them, and they colossal amount, more than how you call it, 10, 20, they're in the billions. We'll publish the details as it is. I still want to suspense, but be rest assured, it's 2 times, 3 times, 4 times more than what we talk about taxes. Then the question is, not only that, they owe, like Africell, owe the people, owe the government of Sierra Leone in 2019 alone over 17 billion arrears. Africell. Leon, 17 billion, Leon. They have not paid that. So not only that, they don't even have a payment agreement with NATCOM and NRA for knowing how they will pay this money. Although NATCOM officials don't tell me, say there is existing agreement. But the question is, we don't forget about whether there's an agreement or not. How will a telephone company that is making such amount of money is supposedly been said to owe money, taxes or license fees with them for pay? Imagine about
but then they close smaller businesses with until 2 million, 3 million.
And then they give us a clock tower and some of these things so that we could think say corporate. You cannot talk about corporate social responsibility or charity when you haven't even met your own corporate license fees. You don't even pay them one day. So we found out these cases of this, and now that will constitute the article tonight. The question is, why officials were responsible for collect taxes, for collect revenue, they allow these multinational giants for getaway and owe the country huge sums of money when they are making profit? The question is, what is their relationship? How much are they paying and how are they paying these things? So people need to ask these questions. And now imagine the tariff, the cost of telephone calls, cost of internet, cost of these things from that these companies are making. And now we celebrate about a clock tower that they built recently for how much in the name of the, and named it after the president. Is this one way of covering up for not paying taxes, for not paying the revenues we're supposed to pay with? You're not going to pay me, you got to pay me 10 million. You go give me a gift of, you go buy me a watch of 100,000, can give me, what does that mean? So these are the kinds of things. So basically, mopping up, what the children here, we are basically helping the state to mop up its revenue. Mop up the revenue. If you collect all this money we're outstanding, why we don't need this debt then with the partner we had with the claim interest. We countries then become completely heavily indebted poor countries. We picking and grab tomorrow, they have to inherit debt. They have to inherit debt. And up to the point of beginning to talk about debt relief. Forgive. Look at them now. Vice President, public officials prostrating in front of the MCC director because they want $40 million. And they're giving away billions and billions and billions in revenues to multinational corporations like Africell and all these other companies. So even if it's 1 billion, but what would they try for illustrating that? These are the kinds of wastages, of leakages, of revenue losses that in normal circumstances, if they are closed up, will give the government and the country the required revenue that it needs to pay teachers, to pay health workers, to maximize salary, to carry out development, to fund public institutions, schools, and all that here. But if you allow these companies to make a lot of money and not pay taxes, because a few individuals develop some kind of a cartel where if a company can pay 10 billion, then give them 2 billion, then go build houses with her and left the country and pretend to fight corruption, this is a disservice to the country. We are killing the future of the country, killing the future of generations and generations. So that's why these things have to be highlighted and put into context. So these are the kind of work we intend for doing and highlight some of these examples in 10 different departments. Where we don't now say, oh yeah, okay, as I say in Nigeria, oh yeah, investigate now.
Yes, do you investigate? Mr. Bao, we don't hold you for long, but it's becoming interesting, and we almost go round up, except if we get a call, we go come in with questions. But before they go, the issue of the Auditor General's report is still hanging, and we don't hear so much outcry out there. And we know, say, Africanist press been always concerned with issues that will happen with the 2018 Auditor General's report. So why do you think there is a delay in not releasing the 2019 report? It's almost coming to the end of the year, or 2020.
Well, I think by law, the audit service get up to December 31 for present the 2019 report. So legally, they are not out of the stipulated time frame. I think concerns them come because there were reports, people doubt, I think, the content of the 2018 report to the extent that there was these rumors of celebrations because people felt a significant aspect of the corruption will take place in 2018, especially between June to December 2018. Things are not significantly captured in the report or whether it was subtracted from the report. So that is why the anxiety now for the 2019 report heightened up, because the 2019 is significant because it deals with the first full year of the Maada Bio regime. So you know, say, and it's been done up 1 month, 2 months in 2018. So some of that and corruption and inside the report. So now 2019 is completely and entirely an SLPP affair. The SLPP, their own business dealings inside it. So that makes everybody concerned about what is the content and why it hasn't come out now and all that, the anxiety around it. Both SLPP and APC people want for say SLPP people are hoping that it is going to be not too damning, because then they want for say they are better off in fighting corruption. SLPP, APC now forward for say, okay, until I say when I fight corruption, one for see this colossal amount of money one and don't thief. Right. But anyway, the Africanist press is ahead of that now. We don't begin to show the indices of this corruption. Not even the actual aspect. We don't show now the symptoms, the signs, small examples. These are in the general scheme of things, the tiny. But I will tell you one other thing we see now, how we see even a record of a situation where the financial secretary, the minister of finance, and director of public debt decide to cancel checks. You don't understand. And we go for deal with debts. Just like now you go for pay the country X amount of money, then we talk, say the country don't wipe the debt off, then these people will go around again and go collect small part of the debt, and the money will say, don't forgive the debt, or say, collect and put it in their pocket. So basically, we have officials in the Ministry of Finance who have developed a scheme where they can write off debts.
So bad debts, so then they write bad debts, then they say they forgive people.
Yeah, they forgive people, and then they go back and collect some of that money for themselves. So these are all, I mean, the details of the kind of corruption where people will develop innovative ways using ABC and numbers, mathematics, and using mathematics, advanced mathematics, or supposedly advanced accounting methods for crook national resources. It's all unimaginable. Why that knowledge and time where they take for develop that kind of skill, why can't you use that knowledge for advance and help the country generate more money than for loot the national treasury? So I find that very, very unbelievable. And for some of these people that I know, that I've seen for the last 10 years, I'm so shocked, because it's hard to believe that knowing these people and being on the same platforms, talking against the same things that they are now doing in an extraordinary fashion is for me so remotely distant that I begin to think whether I am in a real world or in a... So that one I find very... I still define difficult to reconcile.
Yeah.
See?
So whilst if you get question for ask, because they can't let Mr. Ba go just now, the number to call WhatsApp is +44 79 56 52 8160. If you want to ask your questions to Mr. Ba or share your opinion, call WhatsApp number +44 79 56 52 8160. I know say somebody can join we way possibly not in the earlier where you start. The person asked, do we have more leakages now or more stoppages as proclaimed by our president? Please comment, Mr. Ba.
Oh, I think we don't talk about this. For me,
Yeah.
We don't see a quantum leap in graft. I think what will make this day as extraordinarily different, that like I said, the innovative skills applied to public graft, the use of the payroll as a method to steal, the development of mathematical.
So you say people don't master the art of stealing?
Oh yeah, in a very innovative way. Like you use the wage bill as a means for steal. They will say, oh, not way get for pay, not way due this person, or like the issue I mentioned, the cancellation of checks without the actual procedures.
Yeah.
And the supposedly writing off of bad debts, where in a situation a group of people will go pay back, or where they are paying contracts, previous contractors who have not even fulfilled the complete contracts, and then go collect some of the money, they pay them off. Say, now APC be left them here. So you see these press releases from the Minister of Finance talking about we've paid X amount of debts. Okay? We have written off these kinds of checks and all this. You think that is where the money is being spent, when in actual fact, it is an avenue for loot the treasury by pretending that they're paying off debts, much of it coming back to them. So
because we see initially where they go the first 3 months, the government being very say transparent. They publish revenue collection every week, so every 2 weeks, or every month. But now that practice they don't go. So we don't be saying that this is an internal revenue collection, and then they been give people hope. Say, yeah, we're doing well. We're not going for they go amass external loans because we generate income and all. But all of a sudden, then they don't become a thing of the past, or it just die down like that.
Yeah, naturally, every we not to expert accountants and stuff. No, say when you centralize expenditure, you centralize revenue generation, and you naturally expect, even if an institution you suppose for make a quantum leap for recover from losses within a 1 fiscal year period, or at most 2 years. But in our own case, we witness rising inflation, the collapse of the currency, the capital flight and things like that. And so you begin that even generate with interest, or begin find out exactly what is happening. And then the first time we decide for look now the wage bill, more we check, more track government expenditure.
Okay, hold on there quick, sir. I think we'll get a call for you. Hello, caller.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, caller. You don't get time on the line, Mr. Palmer. All right. Hello, are you there? Hello, welcome to CRGM Media zooming in. Ask your question or make your comments, please. Hello, are you there, caller? All right, it looked like we don't lost that caller there. And, you know, if you want for call +4479 56528160. Sorry, I've been here for interjecting, Mr. Ba. Where the call then come in? I know I missed the question. I know so we don't run out of time.
Well, like how we say that in we own case, the centralization of government revenue collection and expenditure now translate into immediate economic recovery. So things then just slide down and economic hardship just intensify. So that make we decide for interrogate government expenditure and revenue generation. And then we alarmingly can see this ongoing thievery and corruption of the national treasury, where for me, I still find them very difficult to reconcile the level of innovation where people are not developed for things said and we would loot the treasury and succeed for get away with it. Because like I said, well, ultimately people are able to pay attention to some of these things because there has been a lot of noise around Commission of Inquiry, COI, and all of these things. So people pay more attention to that and the standoff between the current government and Ernest Bai Koroma and all of that. You see this incident at McKinney, the level of political violence. So then here, they distract the people and keep we away from focusing on key questions. How has the economy fared? Whether Maada Bio and his group are transparent, which is not happy with the promises where they make. So we are completely distracted.
Okay. I think we get a call coming in. Hello, caller. I hope it will connect. For some reason, it don't stop back. I don't know if you listen to the, you know, if you watch me and you want for your yourself day before you call, you know, you don't need for wait. Just make you call then later because there's a, 20 seconds lapse. That's how the technology system, they work from one to another. So you will hear yourself later. If you get your call, make it quick, before we let Mr. Ba go. So Mr. Ba, so you think say all these other political issues and all that are just a distraction for blindside people and from the real issues they will focus and question for us?
Well, you don't drain away. For 3 good years now, we know you talk about anything that happened under Maada Bio. We talk about what don't happen 10 years ago. The same conversations we've been get between 2008 to 2018. That's all. That's what we've been talking about. Commissions of inquiry, APC corruption, and things. But we never had the time to talk about this situation. Whenever they talk about, for example, a few weeks ago when they make this joke about where is the bridge, where is the Lunge Bridge, and all that. Because these are all promises that you've made. So people, but even when we talk about this thing, as you begin question, the first thing they tell you, they shut it down. Say APC on a job you want, or the other thing, they will tell you trust the process. So they've been shouting these brigade slogans when the actual issues are, when the thieving is going on, and they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it.
Hello?
Hello, caller.
Yes, I'm listener, Justin. I call from Sierra Leone.
Yeah, if you want to speak up a little bit, I know they hear you better.
Yes, I say listener, Justin. I call from Sierra Leone.
Hey, Justin, welcome.
Yeah, but I just want to let Mr. Ba go over this figure because a lot of people then they ask questions because I follow up and they actually see what they go. But people when they ask for learning, know specifically, is this 5 billion where they talk, whether in millions or in dollars? Yeah, I want to let you just go over that.
I repeat them again. The same stress when they get so. Where they get for say if in a dollar or Leone when we first saw it, which is why we never included it in the first article, because if it will shock the whole country and the debate about whether it's correct or not for me be an issue. In fact, the same question, when I saw it, I posed the same question to Babadi Kamara, Leadway. We ask him, we say, the internal audit report indicate that because of the way we want to value by shipping out through container without using metric cubic meters, we don't deprive the country of potential revenues of 5.5 billion. The exact figure. Let me just patient a minute. I'll just read directly from the document itself. Because for me,
while she defend that, I just want to ask you something, because on one of the interviews that I see Mr. Babadi do recently, he actually say then at 2,850 millions, not 2,500.
That is not true. Now the government, this is what me make them up. Listen, I'm reading. From the sample selected, we noted there were okay. See here. Let me just read the exact figures. Hold on. I just pull them.
All right, you were the listen. While Mr. Bad defender information, the caller will call, ask for verify.
Between the timber cash book and bank statement revealed that revenues for the export levy totaling, first 2.2 billion was not banked. Okay. Then for every timber transaction, export levy 2,500 and forestation fee of 300 should be paid per cubic meter. We observed that on 11 January, 22 containers were exported, but only the afforestation fee of $200, which is 1 million, so was recorded in the cash book. This will even put as a result export levy and afforestation fee of 41,854,050 leons, which is 5,000, and then another 500 respectively were neither banked nor recorded in the cash book. That's the one aspect. That information. Now look at the amount of money we will talk about. Based on Section 3 of the Finance Amendment Act, an exporter, what did the law say, of any timber or timber product shall, prior to exportation, pay to the NRA a royalty of 2,500 on every cubic meter of such timber or part thereof. However, we observe that the sole exporter of timber, which is Leadway Trading, Sierra Leone Limited, we are using containers rather than cubic meters as a unit of measurement as required by the Act. From the Asikuda data from the Customs Department, a total of 2,201,024 cubic meters were exported, valued at $5,502,562,188. Still only 25,729 still $25,729,500 was recorded in the NRA cash book. As timber royalty in 2019, leaving a difference of $5,476,802,688 neither recorded in the cash book nor paid into the consolidated fund. I hope that settles it. This information would not be put in the article initially, because for us, we were shocked. We don't believe. So
this is only for 2019.
Yeah, 2019. Me and my team spent 2 weeks on this figure. We decide for even send out to different friends that we will get at different international financial organizations. So when I help with this figure back, is it true? Okay. Because initially we thought it was a typographical error. So for safe, when you look at it, go read the first article on timber. We never included these details. Right. Because we wanted to be sure. We wanted to be because but let's say this. What in this tell winner that if we manage the resources very well, we have no business looking elsewhere.
Okay, that's
for money. That are the potential loss of revenue where these people deprive by shipping out timber by container instead of.
Hold on, they will get one more caller on the line quickly. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Yes, caller.
How are you, Sarah Jem?
Yes.
Yeah. I just want to ask Mr. Ba as an investigative journalist, because we don't get allegations. Usman Conte from London.
Okay, Mr. Conte, go ahead.
Yeah, we don't get allegations about 3 institutions there, Salon, like the House of Parliament, the State House, and the judiciary or police. So I don't know. So I don't allege them of corruption. So I don't know if what's the intake on those allegations there as an investigating journalist.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Conte. Mr. Ba, that question for you.
Yeah, I think that's a good question. So these are the things when they will do a perception survey, civil society organizations do a perception survey to find out what people then think about corruption in these institutions. So perceptions normally can come from reality. But this is until they say, we know they do perception surveys. The accusation against Parliament of them being corrupt It's there. Go look the financial records of Parliament for 2019. You will see we get them. In fact, if you remember, Honorable Ibrahim Tawa Conte of the SLPP, representing the Lumley area constituency, now the first person we raised the parliamentary graft. Okay, even as I talk now, we understand that there is a letter that was written by this case where ACC invite Tawa and Paran Conte to the ACC regarding the issues of parliamentary finances and mismanagement of parliamentary finances. Both MPs had made their economic statements to the Anti-Corruption Commission. The Anti-Corruption has not proceeded with that because if you look at a disgrace, we have copies of some of those details of these statements made by both MPs where attest to this, and not only that, including including the financial statements of Parliament, where they show that Parliament spent more money in per diems, in international travel, in not doing oversight and all that here. So when Parliament threatened IGR and civil society to bring evidence, if they want, I can give them the evidence to take to Parliament. The evidence is with Parliament. Parliament just want to show a bold face. But this is the thing, we'll talk about parliamentary corruption. The cabinet, now the largest contributor to parliamentary corruption. Why? They bribe committee members. For example, now when audit service can go report in a Parliament, by right, Parliament is supposed to debate the audit report. The audit report for 2018 has not been debated by Parliament so far from my knowledge. Okay? With that, what that means is that Parliament, the audit service cannot table the 2019 audit service report because the previous one has not been debated. And why is that supposed? They're supposed to debate that, and then this issue where they talk about corruption, Parliament for invite these individuals and enforce compliance on the recommendations of the audit service, but that is never done. Parliament, they approve the budget of the finance ministry every year with these outstanding issues of corruption and lack of compliance with procedures and revenue generation, revenue collection, and debts. So why that they happen? Because the cabinet ministers and heads of parastatals, they go to Parliament to bribe committee members to pay them. You saw the incident with the SALCAB issue. What we've had, parliamentary disciplinary action has now been taken against parliamentarians who are asking for more accountability. So they will not blame Parliament alone, because Parliament by itself, apart from the money that they are giving to run, which they are also mismanaging, the other kinds of corruption that we see from parliamentarians is coming from the cabinet, from the executive branch of government. Now then they hold the purse, now they hold the money, now they hold the treasury. Okay, Parliament only vote and approve the use of the finances in the national treasury, but the management and revenue generation, everything rests with the executive, the finance ministry, and the other departments. That they do them. So when they steal from cabinet, they also bribe Parliament from the steal. So the same way they bribe journalists, the same way they bribe parliamentarians, the same way also that bribery continues with the police and all this. So it's a problem. Institutionalized corruption. When we talk about institutionalized corruption, this is what we call it. It becomes
not a one-man business.
Oh, it then becomes a culture of the people. So where the people say, we talk about corruption. Not only the people in the bribe, we know it is a culture that stems from, the highest office and then becomes ingrained into the schools. But now we can arrest teachers for taking 1 million loans and sell a question paper and parade them on the street. But you can't arrest these people who are dealing with billions and billions and billions of money because they are party members. They are party leaders.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Ba. You left me with headache. I think I need to take sleeping aid today for sleep. Because I can't try for imagine waiting $5 billion they do now. So somebody say $5 billion they build Tulunge Bridge for we. But for me, I'm more concerned about how many hospitals, clinics, water supply, electricity, for end sickness like malaria and things like that to the people of Sierra Leone. But in all this, Tiboy asked a critical question where I think you touch on a little bit. After all these findings, what's next? How the people of Sierra Leone will benefit in all this. If the same people, the same vicious cycle, they go around, you write 2 books the last term, and now they insist that we therefore discuss corruption now, not so that it don't happen. 10 years ago, APCB don't do this. Una come in, then vote una in for make this change, and una made promises, say una can't deliver. But now the finger don't begin points by una as well. So, and within a year, just 2019, for just one sector talk about what's happened, they kind of like scary. And we hope you will bring with more details for we able for discuss this better. So what next for the Africanist press? What next for the fight against corruption? What can the people of Sierra Leone, I'm not just saying about politicians or people in political offices, but what can the people of Sierra Leone do to end this, to break this cycle?
Well, I think for we own part, now we own role this for information is power, and I believe information is key to emancipation. You cannot talk about change without helping the people to see exactly what is happening, how they are being cheated. And again, like how they talk now, you see the amount of money where we all the struggle around, unbelievable, because these things happen in the dark. Mm-hmm. Even some of the most educated people don't even seem to know some of these things. So the more we know about these things, I am pretty sure, the more we get to see them and then show the people, and I believe people will be empowered. I understand, I'm encouraged because I see the last couple of days with the timber thing, there's ongoing discussion around the timber. Timber harvesters are now demanding that the monopoly given to Leadway should be taken away. The timber trade should be liberalized. How can you undertake a monopoly project in a supposedly liberal trade, liberal environment?
Because that was going to be my question. Say the government open the markets to people, exactly. Everybody to participate, small businesses empower everyone, but then you monopolize one sector to just one person.
So, which is why I commend this conversation, this platform, which is why the work, it's not just about Africanist Press, but the work that you guys are doing with Sierra John Media, is part of this same effort. We do it differently, okay? So I am hoping that these kind of efforts, what we all do separately, Sierra John Media, Africanist Press, and other people in different sectors of the larger civil society, not just in government, for hold governments accountable and massify this conversation in social media and traditional and non-traditional media, will help we for arrive at a situation which will go reach a consensus around what will happen. I'm still optimistic that things will definitely head for the better, because now with the instruments of the liberalization of the instruments of mass communication, we're able cage the media. So even when people in Sierra Leone might not be willing or afraid or maybe constrained to take on these things, we are also bringing them out. The information is getting out. Sierra John Media, Africanist Press, and similar kind of platforms exist. And do not underestimate the power of the work that you're doing. It is crucially important. You have to see the amount of people who are now tuned to this conversation, who are participating in the discussion. These discussions are not going to happen in vacuum. It is part of a process for changing society, just like the born picking. Stages of pregnancy, childbirth, the growth of the child. So revolutions are like that. They take place, over time. But the process is this. So let's hope and continue to do the work that we do and help to educate our people. A well politically educated population will definitely find out the path to their own liberation. And that is what I believe. And that's what I'm for the rest of the time that I am alive, I have committed myself to do this work and to fight for the Sierra Leone that I want, the Sierra Leone that I think my kids deserve, and that I commit myself to. So I intend to do that work, and I hope to do that work as well. And I appreciate being given the opportunity and the platform, Sierra John Media, for express these views and share ideas. These are no small efforts. We might not know the significance of them, but we are creating the kind of impact that is necessary. It will germinate to the kind of ideas what we need and the kind of collective action what we need. I am pretty sure it's going to happen.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Bao. We appreciate you. And we hope this has been your platform. We call you sometimes at short notice. And today we force exclusive, and there are more exclusive to come. And we hope you break the news with us sometimes here before going to the wider public. And I'll come to Tibo and Femi Gisno, but So we realize them. I'm sorry, you know, we know so now let the program end. Somebody they ask, say, hey, if we end the program now, Payamba, we sorry. We have to, because Mr. Bagge for go right, he get for go do more investigative work. If we not let her for go, you know, be able for do what he's supposed to do for unearth, you know, the kind of corruption where they take place for make let it tap and let we country move go before. T-Boy, over to you quickly.
Well, Mr. Badon said it all. There is less I can say, and it answers most of the questions. But I would just want to apologize to some of the questions. Then we asked on the group won't be able to answer. I won't be able to throw to you, but we'll hope say next time we'll be able to forget all the questions. Then come to you. But Mr. Bad, this is always your platform, and just like you clearly say, what he really do is not compared to what you're doing.
But somebody they say they'll get some every week a fixed time. So well, that's a suggestion from the public.
We don't get problem for getting Mr. Bar every week. Then availability.
Exactly.
So this person has to really want for get more information. When I follow Mr. Bar online because he publish every week, I believe. So basically, we only get access for maybe we get them on the platform on regular basis if we can. But not so like every week. But again, the option is still open. We're not going to say definitely no. It depends on how strong we want for make this message go across. So we'll look into them anyway. There's a possibility so that will happen. But like Mr. Badon clearly states today, it don't make clearly. I think 80% of we chat group members, they need to sleep fine today. Because all man it's kind of think about the $5 billion we, you know, highlight now. I think it will be one of the most headline news tomorrow that the online chats and platforms that we did. And it also make a lot of sense for make you able for them explain to me in details some of the challenges that you face in doing investigative journalism and what are some of the issues then will not come across. Fact findings is very important in anything a person they do, because if you don't have the legitimate documentation or evidence of what you do, you definitely can't go public. I respect the fact, say, you guys withheld to the $5 million issue because we're going for $5 billion capital issue because we want for investigate them a bit more for like we actually know, say, not to typographical error, not to mistake, is facts. So that's now one thing where I believe, say, myself and everybody where they watch this program today, they take home and try for rationalize what $5 billion really means to Sierra Leone coffers. Again, that is just one sector. And if we say we fight corruption, like you say, you don't give the Anti-Corruption Commission a challenge, say you get 10 cases then, you release the third one tonight, we will like for see the 7 one they really be in, how intense they be, and which particular sector where they were also they go. But nevertheless, we hope, say, definitely we go get more from you in the short comments, because we know to get like 2 months now for make we reach to the expiry dates for the report when the audit report. So until the audit report becomes a public document, I know say there is a lot of investigation we don't do, we just can't face to make our audit reports they kind of public. Now, so we self just the wait, because we self they get enough information about the audit report, what in it entails, what in will they look up to, what in they change, what in not they change, how it's been scrutinized, whether it's coming out, but definitely they come out. So it get for come out either at the 11th hour or as usual, and it going to come out at the period of time when they will distract all the other viewers them for making them able for focus on the audit report, which has been the norm in some areas of information sharing. But we believe, say, the Anti-Corruption Commissioner will do in work as best as he can, and also make sure, say, he not just go after rogue politicians in the past, he also go after rogue politicians currently. And commission of inquiry is a continuous process and it doesn't end. Even in Europe or other parts of the civilized world, commission of inquiry is an everyday process in every institution. If you not get any kind way of balancing your knowledge, or you get for tell people and say you're transparent, I think commission of inquiry is not far from you. until we get to the situation as Salon where every institution, they state to we how much they make, how much they distribute, how much they get now in savings, then commission of inquiry is going to be a paramount issue in the country. So I thank you so much for coming today. I know say we don't take enough of your time, but we'll look forward to get to you more. Definitely. Thank you very much, Mr. Ba.
Thank you so much, T-Boy, and we viewers them. We know say una the appeal number for say we need to get you here again or every week. We'll try our best, and we want for seize Mr. Ba, say we get the exclusive, then also for the cannot to other side for go. So this is your platform. Obafemi Pama, over to you, sir. Una see what una say the man don't look different. He don't begin to get the 2021 look right now. See, look and fine boy.
I know the answer, Juma. I know the answer at all. Mr. Ba, and not to you own Ba Juma over the talk to.
Okay, Mr. Cherno
Ba. Thank you. But again, I don't know if I would tell you thank you because you don't give me self-headache. Right now, I don't believe that money there. I mean, really and truly, you know, Abua asked the question before somebody asked and say, you sure say not to Leon see the talk, but I guess Solomon don't ask the same question. You don't point in the right direction. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's shocking for say we country get so much wealth in minerals, in everything, and certain people are exploiting it. You know, it's a shame. I don't know. Somebody asked me one day, one cab man, I take cab one day, I go shopping and I come back now with a cab. And then this guy, I think he come out somewhere in East Africa. We they talk about Africa in general, corruption. And he asked me, say, you know something? Almost bid one person get for sleep overnight. Why do they have to have several houses, several beds, when that one green bid no more than get for sleep? And I couldn't answer. You know, really and truly, our politicians have let us down. Over the years, they carry on for let you down. And some of we who want to talk now, we get people who they cry, we don't say, oh, una they support the opposition, I make una they talk. You know, so I think, say, we people can say one and bang no they make noise. The corruption thing goes both ways. If the politicians them and the people that within a power, they take we country money, and some of we glad for the help them take that money there, or we quiet and know they say nothing, we're adding to the problem. We're also just as corrupt as the politician there where they take the money. And if company then you don't name a few, we know they do their social responsibility them, then shame on them, because they help for exploits the country money. I don't know what they do for fetish corruption, no. I don't know what anti-corruption they do, but you know, if Mr. Ba and his team able to fend their information here, so we wonder with the people that they actually pay for the job here, so no they able. You know, it is sad. I want to go join Mr. Ba and team. But I contact the embassy of Ecuador, then say they know they take any more tenants. So
they don't give amnesty.
So I go left that work. They give me Saba. Make no can get problem.
No, Mr. Seben don't volunteer for help if Mr. Baden need a helping hand. You know, Adeya, just like how Amadou Masali say, and I say be ready for join for God and country.
But it's true.
For help the team.
So I think so. We all get for put on this scene. No matter how small you will be, where they do, as Mr. Bass say, you know, we say they try for do we on. We do get a lot of criticism. We do get a lot of pat on we back, and we're not gonna make the pat on we back get to we head, and we're not gonna make the criticism stop we for what we try for do as well. So we dey ask all now we dey listen to we whatever una self able for do una for help the country. We'll try for move this country go before.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Obafemi Pama. Always the wise voice behind the scene, and we viewers them we appreciate una follow Africanist Press, then publication, then get a website as well. Mr. Bawit, now the website.
Africanistpress.com.
Africanistpress.com, go there, then they publish issues not just on Sierra Leone but other countries them as well where they get interest. And please and share with video, share this discussion today, share articles, because now so it go reach to the people, them not to idleness. And we all get for, if not just share, no more able for share the conversation, let it happen at your room, let it happen, because it's about awareness. We want let people aware about the things them. Not to for just criticize the government, because we all they say, even the president ask, say, let we help them for fight corruption. Let corruption not fight back. So this is one way we believe the Africanist press, when we all now so as well as on our way they view, they help the government. You not get for go wear coat and tie for go sit down at State House for fight corruption. Share the news, make them available to them. Right now we don't see the conversation from where Africanist press published the issue of the timber. It don't generate conversation wherein some people they for, some people they against, and that is what it should be like. Even Babadi Kamara self don't come out, they try for making your own position. So out of that, it they open more holes, they'll be able to investigate more, for get into the root cause. Possibly Babadi is not the problem. Possibly it's not just State House, it's not just timber, but there are other bigger people and bigger forces behind. But until we try for push and fight, but like Mr. Bassey, let we look at the corruption we did before we write now. And we know say why don't they pass, they don't pull reports, you know, that investigation they continue, but let we not forget this. We not get for wait say the government come on a power, or the people that they serve right now in term of office done before we begin investigate them. So let's start from now. Corruption not the wait, and you not get for all, you know, the case system. We want to say thank you very much to Una and to Mr. Ba. And we go there also with Tuna tomorrow, just like how Mr. Ba been highlight, this platform will not just deal with political issues, and tomorrow the human interest side of issues that we deal with now. So, and while on join the conversation, if we notice a lot of killings, a lot of abuses, don't they happen in we relationship them. So tomorrow, and then they're very important. So we want to get a conversation where we all go engage. We don't discuss the issues here so before, but we they continue again for say in a challenging relationship, when is the best time to walk away? You know, if you don't see say the relationship don't they become too dangerous for you, for both parties, for the picking them, for our family them, when are the best time for walk away? So Lord can share we experience them. And on Thursday as well, we go deal to Nana as well as we all know Breast Cancer Month. We will continue the health show, we'll discuss specifically on breast cancer issues them as we don't they discuss in the past. So until then, me Juma Ba, they say thank you and tata to na all until we join on tomorrow the big Sierra Leone debate.
As we talk about burning issues ranging from politics to the economy, culture to sport, education to entertainment, corruption to the environment, we realize the Sierra Leone story is far from finished. So, Sierra Leone Media Production brings you Zoom In. Zooming In is the program that engages everyday people, entrepreneurs, inventors, entertainers, activists, policymakers, and politicians to discuss and debate issues relating to Sierra Leone. Zooming In digs deep into the issues and stories. Zooming In ensures the debate is pushed to another level. Zooming In asks those questions that has never been asked before. So, join us, host Chumaba.
For all Salon people and then party them. Sierra Leone Media will be bringing you a variety of programs ranging from documentaries to discussions, interviews, news, views, sports, and entertainment. Our programs will contain matters on development, governance, the economy, and issues that are of importance to Sierra Leone. So, no left BNO because we get Bebe program then like salon discussion, meets the ministers, the president's hour, and the Gladi program. Look me, I look you. All this they start soon na www.serrajmedia.org. Now who's tem these?
Silverstone Beats.
People killing, people dying, children hurting, hear them crying. You can practice what you preach, or would you turn the other cheek? Father, 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 help us, send some guidance from above. People got me questioning, where is the love?
See this life we live, oh, we all have to give, oh, yeah, yeah. Cause all I see is evil, and too much killing of my people, yeah, yeah. So let's bless one another, yeah, yeah. So let's help one another. I sing again, yeah.
What's in me, I don't see this kind of thing really happen. This no for be education opportunity. Now in we need, let we learn for the share, not to autumn for the greed.
You see this life they live, oh, you see what we lose or we know. Stop killing one another, let's stand together, yeah. Stop playing the hero, looking at each other like we're zero. On the block with the sea, money they can make every day pan free, yeah.
Alright, they took our boys, they take our joy, take our joy. This study time we stop now crime. Don't blind bodies like your future.
Stop the stabbing, stop the killing. Let's love one another. Peace. Where is the
I see fighting every day, I see dying every day. Why don't we help each other and pave the way for a better life, a life that we all deserve? Instead of killing each other, why don't we preserve? So you wanna be a bad man, he's gonna be a badder man. You got a big knife, he's gonna get a bigger knife. Our people suffered for years in chains. Now we turn on each other, cut for gains. For the ones that send the youth to kill themselves, you pretend to be a father figure but only care for yourself. You are nothing but the flesh of the devil. You're evil, low life on another level. Think about the mothers in the pain they go through. You don't care for these kids, they mean nothing to you. But karma only knows the boomerang maneuver. One day the green reaper will be your remover.
They said of the range ranting up some sanctimonious food is as poetic verses, ruminate a prophecy given to a sentient dude. So I say it's at ease for you to listen and deduce the wisdom that's gonna liberate and galvanize you. Under the sun ain't nothing new, that for black and black crimes and breaking news. Under the sun ain't nothing new.
You gotta stand up. Stand up for what you believe in. Gotta stand up. Stand up for what is right. 'Cause if you got me, then I've got you too. Regardless of what you've been through, even when you're feeling new. Do this if we try. There's no time to waste, no time. Together forever, whatever the weather. Us as a unit working together.
See, I've been a London, but me heart still at home. God don't lift me up, but me heart still at ground. You will never go far if you don't know where you're from. So I don't do it for myself, I'ma do it for the young. Plead to my brothers, let's do it for the youngers. Why spend a bag on a jumper? Back where you're from, people dying with hunger. With people then they suffer. You then I yag, you the bluff, it's copper. You the game need for change, like we not get soft. Where's the love? Where's the love, yo? Where's the love? I said,
where is the love? Little youth, let's take time. Stop all the knife and the gun crime. Think of the future, paint that picture. Get a youth in the future. Peace gonna rain on me. Peace gonna rain on me. Yeah.
Let's stop the violence and come together. Get rid of knives and guns and bombs. Let's be together. With peace and love, golden hope through storm and weather. See what is going on. Where is the love?
Tell me, how do you feel when you see your brothers and sisters lying down the street helplessly? And what will you do if you die today and find yourself in hell?
I want to ask you this. Look inside your eyes and answer me with all the truth. Where you get whose side the love they?
When I left, Boku man them get nef. If you live by the nef, you will suffer. You know get sense, you know sabi say nef not for butter. Stabbing guys, yeah that's uncool. When it comes to knives, yeah I'm anti. What happened to fighting guys with your hands, G? When you stab a man, it's not one man you stab. Just remember that you stab a whole family.
People killing, people dying, children hurt and hear them crying. You can practice what you preach, or you will turn the other cheek. Father, 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 help us, send some guidance from above. People got me questioning, where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? The love, the love. Where is the love?
Be tell you once, be tell you twice. It's like a fight, you got to be wise. Every day you arise, give praise with a dance. Yeah, yeah, keep on trying. Day we awake, a different story. Work night and day, not the same story. When me young go better, when I go left for it where. When me young break go butter, then go they call me master. Then go they answer me yes sir. When me young two go turn to four. This time I go get some, we'll come up and go. So don't give up, don't give up, don't give up. Yeah.
She was the brightest at our level, even though she was as innocent as the heaven. That did not stop Papa Abu at age 57 to ask for her hand in marriage as she turns 11. Her parents, being naive about this rage, tolerated this marriage, and this destroyed the hopes and dreams of Kadiatu to live like it in Seattle. Instead, she's been used as a tool by an old school. Kadiatu is being used as a bait by her own mate. My friend is being emotionally tortured by this old culture. Old child marriage, it's on the rampage like disease, eating up the fabric of our girl child image, and it's our duty to cage. Let's diverge. Please be obliged. It is now we emerge from this ancient custom at large.
Not be hypnotized, but rather stay wise, for these can only be realized if education is being prioritized and child marriage is being criticized. So please, parents, do not relent, as it is apparent that a girl child can become great if only you patiently wait.